Hello, everyone. Welcome to the pre-show, episode 1. I don't think I'm gonna break the rules rule. The show rules, not the rules rule. Is there the rules rule somewhere? There's probably, DJ Wheat probably has a text file called the rules rule. And it has something in it. The show rule. We're gonna go by dates with this show. It's a Google Doc, right? Yeah, not a text file. Yeah. We're gonna go with dates by this. We're not gonna do episode numbers. So this is the pre-show for March 29th, 2020. And that's all I have planned. What do you guys want to talk about?
I was, a couple hours before the show, I was actually thinking, I'm like, oh, now that I've got my, some room to breathe, I was like, I wonder what JP does have planned today. And, I kind of thought this might be one of them, and
it's one of my favorite tricks of making shows is that people think I actually know what I'm doing. But really, I'm just such a good impromptu bullshitter that, and that's why Mac's here as well, because Max is also an impromptu bullshitter. If you ever tune into Tex-Mex, you know that whole show is just us bullshitting. So this is the evolution of it. Yeah. We have zero. Max did some preparation over there. He had like a song and stuff and like an intro and all that. There's none of that.
That's true, yeah. It's a quality song too. I like that. That intro we had.
The only true preparation that anyone needs to do to make good content is just to not be a boring person.
Yeah. And just show
which I
up.
guess I should have said when JP was putting the cast list together. Max, I'm sure you'll figure out something to talk about today, but
wow, I was going to lay off of Max.
Wow.
I was going to lay off of Max for a show, I was going to keep it clean.
I'll tell you, son, I've been broadcasting on the internet since before you even had any programs to help you, using
Is that what I sound like?
encoder
Is that,
and having
is that actually what I sound like?
That's what
Am I hearing what I actually sound like right now?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what you sound like, yeah.
It's true. It's true.
That's true, though. I have been.
I like how
I'm
you
younger,
insulted
but I've been in
me
the
when you
game.
were trying to actually insult, but that's okay.
Yeah. That's okay. New rules. The rules rule. Number 2. No insulting other cast members. This is a positive, feels good show.
That's not going to last. That's not going to last. Ever.
I'll enforce it. We'll figure out a way to enforce it. We'll just make it up as we go along. That's the third rule of the rules rule. Make it up as you go along. That might be number 1. We might need to reorder it.
I like it. This is great. It's like
Is
Fight
this a
Club,
show
but
with
being
Higgins?
nice.
Yeah.
The first rule of the pre-show is there are no rules. The second rule of the pre-show is don't make fun of Max. Okay, let's be nice to Max.
That's true.
I asked if this was a show with Higgins. And just
maybe.
flashbacks there.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
Nobody's been shot in the back of the head yet, so hard
Rule
to say. Really.
F.
Yeah. Roll F. Roll F. Fourth rule of the show. This is going to be a hard one to take, and sometimes we probably will bleed into this conversation, but no gaming conversation unless there's like something that you're super into.
Ooh.
That you
I like
really care about.
It's a good rule. Well, it's a good rule because it prevents 98% of the content of the show being us saying, "Oh, we'll save that for drop frames."
Yeah, exactly.
We're free.
Yeah.
We're free from that
There's
if we
already a
just
show-
don't
there's
talk
already a
about
show
it.
for that, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
That's right. Yeah.
Fifth rule of the
Hold
show.
on, I need
There's no.
clarification.
Hold on. No interrupting. That's the fifth rule.
What?
Sixth rule. You
You're
can't
just being
say
crazy.
we're gonna.
No interrupting?
You can't say
A
that
lot
we're
of
gonna
rules on
save
this.
that for a show. There's no saving anything for another show. If it happens,
Right.
you
This
just
is
got to
it.
go with it. All right. You just
This is the
how
show.
it goes. All right. Clarification. What would you like clarification on?
God, I forgot what it was already, but it was
Okay.
really important. What was the rule 4 again? What was rule 4?
What?
Someone's writing these down somewhere. I'll wait till the
What was
secretary.
rule 4, chat?
Chat.
It was
what's
important. It was no gaming. No gaming.
Number
What if
4. No gaming.
Now, a hypothetical context, but what if
Okay.
I wanted to talk about the fact that, like, guys, it's been so fucking crazy the last couple weeks that I haven't felt like I've been able to game at all.
I think we could talk about an absence of gaming. Sure,
Yeah,
I think that seems
that's
reasonable.
well. I think we could talk about the reasoning too. I think these past.
Oh, we're gonna go deep in it then. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
down. All right,
yeah,
my clarification. All right,
Yeah,
I
no,
got it. I'm with
makes
it.
for
I'm with it.
conversation.
See, I think these rules are hardly fair because as soon as you made up that rule about not making fun of the other cast members, Marcus forgot what he was going to say 3 seconds ago, which is the kind of thing an old man would do.
That
And I
happens to me
couldn't
too.
even point that out.
That happens
I
to
couldn't
me
even
too.
bring up
That's how it
that
goes.
Marcus
Totally
is
because
old.
I'm old. It's totally because
this is gonna be a good challenge for me. I'm into it.
No, Marcus, you can relate to this. I was playing Path of Exile, as you do, when you're not streaming video games on twitch.tv and / itmeJP. And I was talking in my global chat. You guys won't understand what any of this conversation is unless you play PoE. And talking to my global chat, and I was talking about the price of the Savior right now, which is 38 exalts. And I go, man, how is the Savior 38 exalts this late into the league? And someone goes, JP, it's only been 2 weeks. And my mind was blown.
It's like,
because it's only been 2 weeks since that game came out.
I have absolutely found that to be the case, that time is losing all meaning now, right? So I don't know if this is a case for you guys, but the way my calendar gets structured and the way that reflects on my psychology is like, I know what I got to do today. I know what I got to do this week. And then I know whenever the next like event is, I know when the next con I have to go to or the next big game release or whatever.
I don't know any of that.
And as those big things fall off, as I lose those like future things to look forward to, I lose track of what day it is or what's going on. Or I'm just like there are things that I've legitimately been like, oh yeah, I was having this conversation with you yesterday. And they're like, that was last week, Adam. Like everything is just time doesn't mean anything anymore because of that. So it's, I could totally see that, losing track of it, being like, we've been doing this forever. And you're like, nope, started 2 weeks ago. So
that's a big way too. Like how we keep, I don't know, at least a lot of us as streamers who work from home and don't have that normal structure that you'd have in like school, university, or work or whatever. Like, that's how we keep track of like how the year progresses. Like, oh, PAX is in a couple months and we got, this other con that I'm going to. And when that all of a sudden is just gone, our ability to keep track of, basic time goes out the window.
Yeah, maybe so. I think it's also just the onslaught of game releases right now is kind of saving me, because if I didn't have as many games that were as good as they have been to play, I don't know what the fuck I'd be doing right now.
For me, those are way more like movie releases, right? Like Dan and I were talking about it a little bit before Court of Swords, where like I look forward to when a movie is going to come out. So I'm like, all right, this month, here's the movies. I'm going to go see this one on opening night. I'm going to give this one a week, but I'm going to hit the theater like 3 or 4 times a month. And now that idea, like the idea of going to a movie theater and sitting with a bunch of people watching a movie, feels like something that happened to a different person. Like I can't connect to it anymore. And like, I think it's almost like worse that they're moving a lot of movie releases to streaming platforms, because that just exacerbates the problem, where I'm like, now I don't even have to go to the movies,
right
and
now.
I'm just going to watch
me?
I'm on
so weird.
I'm on Wheat's side. It's pretty great. We watched Onward the other night.
Yeah,
pretty good movie. Pretty good movie.
I was going to say, you and DJ Wheat had an Onward.
Yeah. Well, hey, if it was on Netflix, we could use the Netflix
party,
thing.
right?
Netflix party.
Yeah.
Plug in.
Yeah. Whatever that's called. That's officially sanctioned by Netflix, right? That's not like a third party thing.
No, I think it's third party.
I think they're cool with it because it requires everybody having a subscription
account.
And it does.
That's always been my thought too. Is like, why hasn't there? And maybe there has been in the past.
I thought it was official.
Before it was like kind of like weird, kind of seedy stuff where it's like one person has it and then everyone else watches them remotely.
Right.
Yeah. What was that? What was that streaming? There was
Rabbit.
Rabbit.
Yeah. No, I mean, if they were smart, Netflix would just give these guys a few $1 million, adapt the technology, bump everyone's up, their subscription up like another $1 if people wanted to use it, and they fucking would.
Yeah, and everybody totally happily would for $1.
For $1, like that's
actually
it's an easy million a month extra right there. With how many users does Netflix have? What's the number? You're a numbers guy.
Oh God, I don't know as of like
how many
current
current
or anything, but
subscribers do they have? 50 million?
167 million.
150. Yeah, I was going to say about
167 as of January of this year.
So they can make a cool 50 million
just in the last.
Yeah.
Well,
that's true. Yeah, that's the interesting thing about the state of the world is some things obviously are going to shit, rightfully so, or not rightfully so, but obviously so, because of the fact that you can't leave your house. But things like Netflix and like all of this stuff that's somewhat in everyday life is just blowing the fuck up in terms of who's getting it all.
There's one interesting dynamic that like is going to hit people like a ton of bricks.
What's that?
and it's very similar. I'm going to use an old man, but it's very similar to the writer's strike that happened about what was that 15 years ago almost now.
Yeah, it was a while back.
I'm trying to think of a show that got interrupted midway because of
Friday
that.
Night Lights. We'll talk about it soon.
So two things kind of happened there. First off, a lot of shitty television came off because like the people that had to just keep going, they would just resort to whatever. And then a lot of stuff was delayed. But like now, notice all the different stuff that is getting delayed. Like eventually,
we're gonna catch up.
Not knowing
suck.
What's gonna happen? What?
I think I jumped the gun, but we're gonna catch up to the time where no one is producing anything.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Because they're just like, oh my God, because I mean, frankly, like be honest, like they're also in a time where they're probably going to get just a crazy amount of subscribers. They're going to, right? Like it just makes a lot of sense if people are like home. It's like, yeah, I'll finally get that stupid Netflix subscription, or I'm going to get my own or whatever. I'm sure that they've had a huge surge during this time, but you're exactly right. They will run out of content because it's not just like one specific industry that's been shut down. It's literally industries and production houses all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
That, but I'll tell you what, for the next 5 years, we are going to have some fucking unbelievable shots of places across the world that are empty. Right, like that will be all stock footage that is going to go into.
There's been a ton of great stuff like that.
The news has been doing that.
Oh yeah,
constantly.
For sure. Yeah, yeah. They're showing a bunch of.
Look
crazy
at this
stuff.
empty road where people used to drive.
I think I saw one of Paris, which was really crazy looking. Like it was just an empty.
Some of it is like interesting footage and stuff, and then some of it for like I don't know, like local channels or whatever. They're like. Look at this. I'm like, dude, that street's always empty. What are you doing?
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
Honestly,
locals always struggle.
I want to make it clear, like, I'm not making light of the situation. I know you all know how much I care about this situation. I'm like constantly fascinated and very interested in how this is going to change our world from like top to bottom.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
There's so many different dynamics.
It's going to change a lot.
I didn't want to be insensitive about.
I was
shit sucks.
I mean, I already clipped it and I have it in my
you're already
your blackmail folder.
I already messaged Slasher. He's gonna get it up on Twitter, and you're gonna have a hard time. What was it? I think it was. It was an interview with Tom Colicchio, who is if you ever watched Top Chef, he's the bald guy, or if you've ever been to Vegas and know the restaurant Kraft, he's the owner of that and the restaurateur behind a lot of those. He was talking about how on like March 11th or something, he knew that he was going to have to like close his restaurant empire and basically let 300 plus staff go. And in doing so, in the interview, he talked about like how all of this is going to have to change because it's starting to come to a head now with the virus doing what it's doing, that this whole quarterly product, like the way that business is structured sucks. And it just is not actually a good thing. And so to hear someone kind of at like the top of the food world and kind of restaurants at large hear that type of shit, I'm kind of hopeful that maybe it actually will change and maybe there will be some good things to come out of a lot of this.
You know what all of this isolation is preparing us for is living on Mars. Because we're all super cut off from one another. We're not allowed to leave the house, right? If you go outside, you will die. So we're all just practicing to be part of Jeff Bezos's Elon Musk's space fleet that will take us to Mars, so we can all live in domes there.
That'll probably happen.
That's what it is. That's what I've been saying, man. They're getting us fucking ready.
If anything,
they know we're not going to do it willingly, and they don't want to pay us, man.
I bet you they're already planning a trip in the next 6 months, and they're just going to leave and randomly announce one day, hey, we left from
See you
Mars.
later, plague planet.
Dude, you can't, you know what? You need to stop, JP, because literally that is the next like sci-fi movie, because then they take COVID-19 like off and that something happens and mutates suddenly there's a new horror sci-fi franchise based that we can't do that yet. We can't have that in real life yet. We're not ready.
I've read a really funny. The other
not
thing
ready.
that's really a positive about the whole coronavirus shit is Twitter is hilarious lately and also very depressing. It's kind of a polar opposite of extremes, but some of the tweets. One of my favorite tweets that I read is that there was someone tweeting that they can't wait for American cinema and American TV to make movies based on the coronavirus, where The Rock is a scientist and he's going to defeat terrorists for some reason in order to defeat the virus. And I was like, you know what? That's probably going to happen. They're probably going to have some like stupid action movie based around this shit.
I think about all the movies that we've made about like the Black Plague or like other pandemics, right? In the past, right? Historically. So in like 100 years, movies about March 2020, like what are they going to be like? The dramatized version, you know, featuring the 6th generation clone of The Rock. Yeah, like that to me seems so fun. The idea of like looking back at a historical period through a future lens and seeing what will get dramatized and what won't, and like how we'll look back at our sort of prehistory.
Yeah.
In some sense, Rule 8, not too hardcore politics, but in some sense, it has to be a comedy, right? Because there's no way that you could tell the story of any of what's happening without it just being a fucking comedy. There's no way. It has to be like if it's a drama and it like cuts to the White House and they're telling a true life story. No one's gonna believe that actually really happened.
Dude, you want to know what? Have you guys seen Pixels?
No.
You know, the Adam Sandler movie.
I've seen the trailer several times and chose not to watch the film as a result.
I just watched it the other night with my wife. Like that was our go to bed movie. So it took us like 3 nights to get through it. But is it Kevin?
Kevin Smith?
Who's Paul? Yeah, is that Kevin? No. Who's
not Kevin Smith.
Paul Blarth? Who's the mall cop?
Oh God.
He's in the movie and he's the president.
Of course he is. Kevin James.
And what?
Kevin James. That's
Kevin James is the actor.
Okay. Kevin James. Thank you very much. I knew it was Kevin. So it just reminds me of exactly what you're talking about. Like it's just so ridiculous that he is the president in that movie. And it would, if it was a comedy, that's the way to go.
Yeah, it would have to be.
I like it.
Any other thing would just not be believable.
I think you're right too, because when we make like a scary movie about a pandemic is meant to harness fears that a pandemic is coming. But if you make a movie about a pandemic at the end of it or after it, then it has to either be a sort of documentary look at it or or to Max's earlier point, conspiracy theories, right? That's the other angle is like,
yeah, man,
what if this is why that happened? Yeah. And that stuff, that'll be the stuff I'm interested in, right? The, what's that? I think it's just JFK, the Kevin Costner movie that's about the conspiracy to kill JFK. Like that's the kind of thing we're going to end up. It'll be like, what if COVID-19 is the result of like reptilians? Right? What if the Freemasons did it?
The Freemasons.
Yeah.
Are you saying the Templar brought over COVID-19 from Oak Island, and maybe they've actually found the treasure of Oak Island? And oh my God!
Spin the conspiracy wheel and see where you end up.
See, I'm not upset, or because you guys are saying conspiracy. I'm upset because I know that there's never going to be another National Treasure movie, and you guys brought up the Freemasons and all this shit, and now I just want to see National Treasure.
No,
or the second one.
So
they're so good.
I always, whenever anybody talks about conspiracies, I always bring up the Freemasons because there was a brief period of time when I was like 14 or 15 years old that I was just obsessed with Freemasons and conspiracy theories. Like I read all these books about them, and I was just paranoid about the one Masonic hall that we had in the town that I grew up in. So now whenever I think of like wacky conspiracies, my brain immediately just jumps to like some old dudes in aprons doing weird things in a temple somewhere. So yeah, that'll be something that I'm interested in seeing is like where the sort of kooky conspiracy universe goes with something like this, because nothing for those people, nothing is ever what it is. It's always some like deeply nested, strange series of events that led us to where we are.
Yeah.
Which I'm very curious about.
Sorry, I just broke this clip. I don't know how the fuck.
I was just Drummer Boy was
Go ahead.
mentioning too about Hideo Kojima and how they can make a wholesome game because whatever he writes comes true. Imagine if Death Stranding got pushed back and released like now.
Well,
oh my god,
while
dude,
this is
it'd
all
be so
happening.
crazy.
There's been Last of Us comes out in May. It's gonna be kind of a fucked up game to play. Like,
Yeah.
The people that play Division 2 right now.
I mean, it would be any time. It would be. I've been playing through
but it's like
the
tenfold now,
remastered.
right?
It would be, yeah.
Yeah, like it's different. It's different. I don't know.
You pretty much,
Resident Evil
you
3,
pretty much
yeah,
have
next
like,
week, that's true.
you gotta make a choice about when you're producing content that's close to reality like this. Like I don't know. I was old enough to remember stuff getting canceled and like conspiracy theories around like various pieces of media when 9/11 happened. Like there was a petition to rename the movie The Two Towers. They were like, that's insensitive.
Really?
And I'm like, but
I didn't know that.
they named it in like 1920, so like relax, it's okay. But like people respond to stuff coming out and things get moved around, things get rewritten. There was that movie poster, the Spider-Man 2 movie poster that they pulled them all down and posted new ones.
Yeah.
So any like movie or anything that has like a mass plague or an apocalypse or whatever, you know that there is somebody on the marketing team right now being like, should we rewrite this? Should we just go at it? Like, what are we gonna do? Because it's so close to reality, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That actually, it's happened quite a few times.
There's a lot of post-production going on right now, I'm sure, to like adjust some things to make them fit to the sort of new world. What's the name of that? There's that X-Men. It's not X-Men, but not X-Men. You know, it's like a Fox Mutants movie, and it's been pushed back already, like 4 or 5 times. Yeah, the scary one.
I think it's the New Mutants. Yeah.
New Mutants. Yeah. So that's getting pushed back again. By the time that movie comes out, the kids that were in it are going to be like 40. Like it's going to be the weirdest press events because these former, it's like, well, when I made this movie, it was 12 years ago. I know I look like a teenager, but it's all adults here now at the,
isn't that
everybody's
the,
going to go through
the actress that played Arya, right?
Yes.
That's what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
There's actually so much of that happens because we were talking about sort of the ways that this might affect the entertainment world. Is that it's also going to just see a release of movies that have just been sitting in a can that maybe they're like, well, we weren't going to market this anyway, but now we can throw it at home or put some marketing behind it this way. And also it'll be interesting because this is also the like, when the stars have done movies or the people they're trying to make into stars that they've like kept them in the can, which is it Chris Hemsworth that like they didn't release Cabin in the Woods
Right.
because they didn't want it to fuck up Thor. And so it came out way after, like it was done for the longest time. Right. And it just, I feel like that shit happens all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's something like there's that new, the Hamilton guy, he had a musical that he wrote and
Miranda?
Lin-Manuel Miranda. He wrote a musical before Hamilton and it didn't really like hit.
Is that in
but
the
then
Heights?
Hamilton happened and it was a huge deal. Yeah, and then they were like, okay, well let's look at your back catalog. What else you got? And let's make that into a movie.
I can't wait.
So it's kind of interesting seeing.
Movie, actually.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It does look pretty good.
They're also making a Hamilton movie if it fails, so it'll be hard.
Yeah, right.
And they said they're going to release the original cast recordings too, which is great.
Yeah.
But I think in the Heights, Adam, what I'm actually most excited for is that I heard the song that they did for the movie, and I immediately was like, oh my god, I need to go get the soundtrack. Like it's right up my alley. Obviously, I love Hamilton, but the original cast soundtrack is good, but it is clearly fucking off the chain in the movie. Like all the music that they redid for all of it sounds so fucking good.
Yeah.
I always think that's interesting, and I think it often happens after an artist has died rather than like the window is getting closer. But when like somebody dies and then usually their estate, which is to say like their kids, dig into the back catalog and they're like, I could make another book out of this, or we could make another movie out of this thing after they've passed. But it is cool seeing Lin-Manuel Miranda and like other artists like that get recognized. Like, this thing you made is amazing and big. Let's bring some of your other stuff and like really produce it. Let's make a movie out of it. Let's give it the space that it needs, which is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, he's getting a lot of that. He had a lot of work.
Yeah.
Or he's getting a lot of work because Hamilton blew the fuck up. So yeah. I didn't realize, and this might blow your mind, Adam. And maybe Weed, although I don't know if you've watched Weed. Have you seen Mindhunters?
Yeah.
Okay. Gassy, have you seen Mindhunters?
I haven't, no, but I've been meaning to.
Okay.
Everybody keeps saying it looks good, and it looks good.
We'll talk about it here in a second. The main character of Mindhunters, I forget his fucking name. Anyways, he is the original. You got to help me out here. King George from Hamilton.
Oh yeah, correct. Yeah.
Who also?
Right. Yeah, he was also in Glee.
Yeah, he's also in Glee. Holden Ford,
he was the rival.
He's also in Frozen as the male love interest of Anna or Anna or whatever her name is. Maybe not Anna. I don't know. I'm getting the names wrong. That's all the same fucking person. I had no idea.
Jonathan Groff.
Yeah,
is right. That's
pretty crazy.
Exactly
so
right.
what I'm hearing is that we're gonna get season 3 of Mindhunters, and it's gonna be a musical.
Yeah, Kristoff. That's who it is. He plays Kristoff. Yeah. He's all over the place.
Okay.
No, that's an insane range to me. The fact that he was
He's been
in
in some
Hamilton,
crazy successful stuff.
he was in Frozen as Kristoff, and then he was in Mindhunters as the lead of like a super drama.
Honestly, like everyone on Glee, like that show alone, look at how many like they're all very successful on the music front, but I like to see someone cross over all the way to have a show like Mindhunters because he's fucking amazing.
He's really good. Yeah,
amazing in it.
Yeah,
but I don't,
Yeah, there's. I feel like he's got kind of the same vibe as, and this might just be because I'm rewatching Mad Men, but he's kind of got the same vibe as Vincent Kartheiser, I think is his name, the dude that plays Pete Campbell.
Yeah, I was gonna say Pete. Yeah, a little bit.
In that they do a really good job. They do a really good job both directing him and him acting. Where in some scenes you're like, yeah, you're doing it. Like you're a scrappy guy trying to get it done and like you celebrate their successes. But then in other scenes, you're like, you're an infant and you're acting like a moron and I hate you. And then the next scene they bring him back. And like, I feel like they do that really well in that show, basically just for that one character where they kind of pull your sympathy back and forth, which I like. I like that about a show. I like going from episode to episode and being like, do I like this guy today? Do I not? I don't know. I can't decide.
Yeah. Let's talk about movies and TV for a bit in the sense of watching anxiety-inducing television and movies in an anxiety-ridden time sucks. I'm watching Ozark right now. Let me tell you what's really shitty. Watching Ozark, turning it off and looking for like a break, opening up social media and just like, oh God, I got to go back to Ozark. It's so... It's so
I mean,
rough,
that is
man.
definitely one of the extreme. That would be like if they really did say, boom, motherfuckers, Black Mirror season 5 and 6.
Yeah.
What's up? Just be like, what are you doing?
Yeah. I think there's so much TV like spun off of Breaking Bad in terms of like, we need to make like a show that is super tense. And all of those shows are now out there or coming out or in multiple seasons. And so like, that's what the majority of people are binging right now. It cannot be healthy on so many levels to watch that shit. So it's got what's the most recent documentary?
People are well adjusted.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
I'm sure.
overall, people
Totally.
have
Yeah.
their shit together.
By the way, you should watch Mindhunters. It's not anxiety inducing at all or tense whatsoever.
What?
I find Mindhunters not. I don't find it that tense because I already know what's going to happen in the sense that I'm like, yeah, like it's set before now. It's like a true story, and I know what happens to Charles Manson. I know that story. I know where he ends up. Right, fucker's in jail. So yeah, I feel like though I feel that on like the tense stuff, but I also feel like if you go too far in the other direction, I find watching anything that's too like cheerful or hopeful, I just get irritated. Right, like I found this with Animal Crossing. Everybody's playing Animal Crossing right now. They're all really excited about how like chill it is and stuff. But I find after about 20 minutes, I'm just like, no, it's too saccharine. I'm done. Get out of here. You're trying to be too nice. I need a little bit of like.
I'm totally fine with the Animal Crossing.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me so much.
I'm not playing it, so I'm just like living vicariously through other people's Animal Crossing content.
Oh yeah, other people's Animal Crossing time is great, but like for me, I find stuff that's too saccharine or too hopeful or too like chill. I'm just like, You're fake. It's fake.
Wait a
Nothing is
minute.
happy. Get
Wait
the
a
fuck
minute.
out of here.
You're on a show that's designed to be chill.
Yeah.
So do
I
you
mean, I can
hate the
make
show,
things that
Adam?
I
Is that
wouldn't
what you're
watch
saying?
myself.
We're only at the pre-show
Oh,
right now.
Are we in the pre-show?
Yeah.
Pre-show? Okay.
You hate what
Yeah,
you
I
become.
mean,
We haven't got to the real shit yet. We haven't got to rule 57 yet.
We're almost
That's
to
right.
rule 57. That's where
It
shit
is.
gets
I have
crazy.
been trained. I have been trained by 6 long years of doing this that nothing counts until about minute 35 or 40. So we're about to finish the pre-show and then the real seriousness happens.
That's all this is.
But no, I mean it's like
There's nothing else happening.
I get the escape. I like the feeling like and to a degree it is nice, right? But it's like I don't go seeking out feel good media because it resonates
Sure.
fake for me. But like watching something that's really good, right? Something that's masterfully made, or even just like looking at like some really nice photographs or going back and looking through an art book or something, like being reminded that not everything is total garbage. That helps regardless of the tone. But also like, yeah, you can definitely get into a misery hole if you just like watch, like, I'm not gonna watch Chernobyl again for a while. We're gonna let that one rest.
I thought about going and there's a bunch of shows that I've gotten to like episode 6 or 7 and then stopped. Watchmen, Chernobyl, Lock and Key, like all of the like big shows that I know things happen, and I stopped watching them. But it was because those shows were so like anxiety ridden and stress ridden that I was like, I'm gonna watch fucking Next in Fashion. Let's watch some
That's why
people
you need
make
to
some
watch
clothes.
Utopia Falls, you guys. I told you about it, but you didn't.
Oh
no
my
no
God,
one took my
Utopia
advice,
Falls.
man.
Utopia Falls.
No one took my advice.
Is that show still going? Is it still making?
It was Hulu released them all.
Oh, it's done. The season's out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Here's a
I
question.
missed out.
Here's a question. Out of all of the different on-demand video services, what's number one? If you can only subscribe to one on-demand video service, where are you going?
I'm gonna save my answer for last because I have to give the Canadian answer to this question.
Oh. Also, I
see.
think Amazon Video fits into this, even though it's free, but you have to pay for certain
Voodoo
things.
doesn't count, right? We're talking just anything that's
It's
subscription
interesting
based.
because like some of them are like, I guess it would be ones that you have to subscribe to, right? Because like Disney Plus, Netflix, Voodoo is more just like a video service, and so is
Yeah,
Amazon
but I could
Video.
get every television show. You can
can
literally
yeah.
buy the season while it's airing, and then it'll pop it right into your digital cloud of goodness right there.
I guess Voodoo
Right.
makes sense then to throw in.
No, I don't think that counts. I
don't
was
think it
saying
counts?
like
Okay.
that should. No. It's like
I think-
it's way above all of them.
Okay. It's
I
all
think
encompassing.
Netflix is the one for like if I just want to pay a subscription and then just not have to worry about like purchasing any content or whatever. And then Amazon ends up being the second just for like when I get that specialized content where it's like, all right, this isn't available here. I know it's going to be available on Amazon somewhere for me to give them money. But Netflix, probably if you're talking about just subscription based, like whole bunch of content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you
I
at?
think that's fair for me.
Okay.
I mean, I wish that Shudder had more content, but the problem is if I had just Shudder, which is the horror thriller
Who owns that, by the
crazy
way?
shit one,
Is that Voodoo?
AMC.
AMC owns it. Okay.
AMC owns
AMC
it.
does, yeah.
You could watch all that shit pretty fast, but it's all great. But Netflix has got to be just such a wide. Netflix is doing everything. I've given them a lot of criticism for just like throwing money at production, but I think they've done a really interesting job over the past year with like some shows. Like I think them taking a shot at reality television. Here it comes, but I think them taking a shot at reality television in their own way is it's really good. And like they had a couple of the most talked about shows in the last
we've watched
3
them all
months.
in this house. They're all great.
And now they're bringing the international versions, which might not be for everyone, but again, it's just like they I don't know. They've got a good strategy. I mean, obviously they're going to get to a point where there's going to be like I don't know. Like the weird part about Netflix is they're like who's our customer? Because once you're
Sure.
a subscriber, you're pretty much a subscriber. So like who's our market? Who are we going after?
Yeah.
it's one of those weird things. So there's like a balance between the amount of money they spend on content, and I don't know, they're gonna have to evolve. Like they evolve so much.
It's a real hard thing. Yeah, when you're the only game in town, like Netflix was for a while, when competition starts to develop, you can't just be like, we're the guy, this is it, right? Because now other people are specialized. You've got Shudder and Disney and like all these people being like, if you want this kind of thing, we're the place for that. And Netflix kind of just is still like, we're Netflix. We got flicks on the net. Come on over.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, like for me, obviously the whole structure is different because of licensing. Like Amazon Video, if you open it in Canada, a little tumbleweed just blows by. And if you've already watched every episode of Man in the High Castle, that's it. You're done.
Really?
You've watched everything on
Really?
You don't get like Jack
It's
Reacher
so bad.
or not Jack Reacher.
Yeah, they have
Jack Ryan.
They have their own originals, and they have a couple of other things that are on different platforms. Like American Gods was on Amazon for a while in Canada, and it might be on something
it's
else.
On Stars.
The other problem is, so Amazon Prime Video is not great here. It has a few things, but like Max said, it's like a second trip. If you can't find it somewhere else, then you go. Like Vinland Saga is a show I watched on Amazon, and it's pretty good, but otherwise it's pretty bad. We can't get HBO Go, and if you want to watch HBO, you have to sign up for this other garbage Canadian content provider called Crave, and then it's like $45 a month.
Crave.
Wow.
You guys get fucked.
Crave maxes out. So check this out. Crave maxes out at 720p at something like 1,000 kbps. So every show I've watched on Crave looks like shit. Just straight up trash.
I thought
it's really
disgusting.
bad.
I thought Canada was a first world country.
It's really
What's
not worth it. Yeah. So that's kind of off the table for that stuff.
We really should put the military on the border of Canada. Keep that shit out of here. Get them out.
What? Wait, hold on a second. What?
It's terrible. It looks awful.
Why?
I don't know. So as soon as you sign up for Crave and you realize that, because they definitely don't tell you, as soon as you find out, then you look up online and all it is just people being like, why is it like this?
So
why
is this just HBO? Because HBO made some fucking crazy deals back in the day, right?
Yeah.
They fucked up bad, where they basically were like, yeah, we'll sign like 30, 40-year deals, like thinking that cable was kind of the next big thing. Was Crave is a cable provider?
No, so Crave is owned by Bell. Bell is a phone, it's like a telecom and internet provider.
Yeah.
And so Bell owns Crave. Crave is their internet platform for putting out stuff. And they have a partnership with HBO, an exclusive broadcast partnership in Canada. So Bell is the only company that can show HBO content in
that makes
Canada,
more sense
including
now.
HBO itself.
So what?
It's a phone company essentially. It's an old phone
It's a phone
company
company.
that does
They're
internet and stuff.
absolutely a phone and
They
cable
pivoted,
provider, but they started as a
Max.
phone company.
Here's
That
what needs to happen.
hard.com pivot.
What needs to happen is
that's-
more
but that's-
capitalism, so bigger industries buy smaller industries there, then everything's the same. And then you can just get access to everything at once. That's what needs to happen.
Well, now it makes sense. The 1,000 kbps cap. We're like, 1,000's fine, right?
Yeah.
You're shaking your head no.
I don't need to
Sounds
see
like
that
more
band.
than 999, Bob. Let's go for it.
Nobody needs
1,000
more
sounds
than
like a lot.
1,000.
Yeah.
Nobody needs more
Put
than
an
1,000.
exclamation point in front of there, and we're set.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real bad. But if I had to get rid of all of my subscriptions to content stuff except for one, I would keep Spotify.
Oh,
That'd be the
yeah.
thing I
Music.
kept.
Music is the thing.
I would.
You don't
I
want
would.
Spotify, Adam. That's Adam. Come on, you get Spotify. You gave everything up just to keep something that wasn't being taken away from you anyway.
I mean, nobody's taking my Netflix away either, but I feel like between
I don't know.
between
JP sounded like he
podcasts-
was asking you what the one you wanted, and
We
he was
might-
going to take it away.
I've got some big ballers
never
on
said-
dial, so we might have.
I mean,
Never
if we
said
buying-
anything
start
about
to
audio streaming.
Yeah.
if we start to get into the whole like if they take away all the streaming stuff, I can still pirate things, right? Like if we're going full on like wacky made
Adam,
up scenario,
I would never.
Yeah. Come on now.
What is wrong with you? Is that how they do it in Canada? I get
Jesus.
it. Desperate
Max.
times.
What happens
1,000
when
kbps.
Crave
Jesus.
comes after
you have clearly never lived on this side of the maple curtain, Max. It's shitty up here, my dude. Right? Spray painting the Hulu logo on our side of the wall.
Throw around the P word that isn't pre-show.
Well, the funny.
Right, so
that's where we're all
I probably
headed
shouldn't
eventually,
I shouldn't do this on stream, Marcus, but I've got some Canadian steel I could send you in exchange for some MP3s if you want to. I got a big truck full of Canadian steel if you want me to.
Adam.
Is it tax-free?
Maybe.
Yeah, I know a place out in Winnipeg, Winnipeg way that I could send it your direction. We could trade it. You send me TV shows and I'll send you some of that sweet Canadian.
The pun's
steel.
already there, so I'm not going to say it. Everyone just think about it. Okay.
Yeah.
And we're good.
I didn't get it, Max.
Yeah.
We got rule number 9. You have to explain jokes. If a guest member doesn't get it, what was the joke? Explain it. This is what I listen to podcasts for.
It's steel. It's
Is
crime.
it for jokes to be explained?
It's a steal.
It's because
it's a double entendre. Okay, I get it.
no, it wasn't at all.
It's a triple entendre. Wait, what is an
It wasn't
entendre?
at all.
Someone
It
explain
wasn't
what
at
word
all.
entendre.
I want to learn what
I'm
entendre
going to
means.
say it then.
Okay.
It's going to step on one of the rules a little bit.
All right.
During one of the press briefings, they've been having them every day. The White House task force.
Yeah.
A journalist said, Mr. President, we've got reports that there are soldiers on the Canadian border.
Yeah.
And the president was like, well, we have people bringing steel from Canada. They're bringing in steel, and they're not paying tariffs on the steel.
I don't
And
know.
so we've got these.
Everybody
soldiers.
knows that if you want to make the greatest katana, you need that
So-
1,000-folded
See,
Canadian steel.
Here's to go full circle.
And it was
I don't
like,
know if
what
Wheat was just
are you
telling a
ta-
joke and like that was
No,
the
that's-
part
This
that
is-
actually happened.
That's
but it
why
probably
your
really
movie
happened.
has to be a comedy, bro.
Yeah,
that's
that's
why
what
your
I'm
movie
saying.
has to be a comedy.
I don't know
We
what
brought
Alright,
it
so-
full circle.
Yeah.
So, Marcus, obviously what we need to do is start working on a script for Winnipeg Steel Smugglers, parts 1, 2, and 3. We'll get Ryan Reynolds to be in them.
There you go.
And we'll release them in like 2022. And everybody will think it's great. They'll remember all the hard times we went through. And Ryan Reynolds in his flannel shirt he's gonna bring it back around.
Wait, who?
Winnipeg Steel Smugglers.
There's
I'm into it.
a handful of Canadian actors that are like mega superstars that a lot of people don't realize they're Canadian. Ryan Reynolds is one of them. Who are the other ones? There's like 2
There's
more.
a lot of them. No, there's more. I can't think of them.
There's only 2 more.
Jim
We
Carrey?
just assume they're American, but
Is Jim Carrey, is he Canadian?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is Dan Aykroyd Canadian? Yeah. Yes,
Ryan
he is.
Gosling
Dan
is one of
Aykroyd's
them, too.
Canadian.
Yeah. Ryan Gosling.
Rick
Seth
Back to
Rogen?
the Future. Back to the Future guy.
Oh my God. I thought Seth Rogen was
Michael J. Fox.
Wow.
Michael J.
that's a lot.
Fox. Yes, he's
How
Canadian.
you gonna
What were you
say?
gonna
How
say,
you gonna
JP?
call Michael
One of
J.
us?
Fox Back to the Future
Listen,
guy?
Wait, you're not the only old man in this conversation.
Oh
so,
man.
Wait,
So
what?
JP, to your point with
That-
Seth Rogen. So
Wow.
Seth Rogen, he's from Vancouver. So
We'll go
is
back to
Ryan
it.
Reynolds. Seth
Yeah.
Rogen's from Vancouver. He recorded. So we have a public transit. Like we have a train, basically a monorail called the SkyTrain, and it has these little announcements like many monorails do. And you like pull up to a station. It's like you've now reached
yeah.
Commercial Drive Station or whatever. Seth Rogen recorded a bunch of those in his own voice. So you have him doing the SkyTrain announcements. They played them for a while. I don't think they play them anymore, but yeah, he recorded a full set of them and
Nice.
put them up there. And,
I'd-
yeah,
I
so
would
for
Did
a
any of
while
them
when you're riding
start with
public
like
transit.
a bong rip?
Yeah.
Like a-
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Hey guys, thanks
I hope so.
joining us on the transit.
I hope so.
Yeah,
Wait.
it's just the bubbling sound and then him laughing, and you're like, "Where are we, Seth
No.
Rogen?" He's just like, "I don't know,
I
man."
don't know,
The
man.
doors are opening.
That'd be great. That'd be great. Wait,
Yeah.
wait. What's
Nice.
wrong with saying Michael J. Fox is the Back to the Future guy? What? Is
Oh,
that
I guess
a
I forgot his
disservice?
name. Wheat was giving me a hard time because I couldn't remember the name of Michael J.
Didn't
Fox.
remember his name, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I was gonna say like, that's his most
He's the
prominent
guy
role,
that-
is it not? Like what?
He's the guy that
Look,
wrote
man.
Johnny Be Good, right? He's really famous
Yeah.
for those two things.
I mean, you got to remember, like, fuck, man, like Danny LaRusso and Michael J. Fox,
Sure.
like Marty McFly, like you're talking about
Mhm.
in the era that I grew up, like these were childhood heroes, right? Like I
Right.
was like, I'm definitely going to be as cool as Michael J. Fox and fucking back,
Marcus's,
so
Marcus's
you know,
childhood
just-
heroes like Plato and Socrates and Aristotle.
Wait,
Mozart.
where does
Bach.
where does Ferris Bueller rate in your cool guy wheelhouse?
Oh, Ferris Bueller
is he-
was like the hot shit.
he's up there? Okay.
For sure.
All right.
For sure.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite movies. I wasn't sure if I was cool enough
Oh
for
no,
an
no,
80s
no.
kid.
Fucking it's still to this day kind of amazing. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous, but it's
Totally.
it's still
Most of the movies that came out there.
Don't watch it now because it's all about like going out and doing stuff and breaking,
yeah,
you know,
singing at a
It's true.
parade and
Established
having
order.
people like
It's
Mhm.
true. Yeah,
going in
don't,
public places. And,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's a little taboo.
Don't do that. No.
it's true. It's a little taboo.
Yeah.
It's a little taboo.
don't be inspired by that movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Max, what about you?
But
What have you
anyways.
been watching? We've been talking about different shit we've been watching. What about you? I actually don't know this about you. Do you and Amanda watch a lot of TV, or do you generally just like, I don't know. What do you guys watch?
I watch more TV than she does. She doesn't really watch a whole lot of like movies and stuff. Well, she'll watch some TV here and there, but like
Yeah.
it's usually me introducing her to that kind of stuff.
Okay.
The last thing I watched, I really don't want to talk about it. I finished
Oh.
Picard.
Oh,
Oh,
I saw some tweets.
Are
about
you
that.
okay? Do you need you should have said something. Do you need some support? Like, what can we do? Can I send you like episodes of TNG to rewatch, or like how can we support you in this rough time, Max?
That's what I've been doing, actually. I've been going back and watching, and I'm just like,
Right.
oh, okay, it's better. It's better.
Yeah,
It's
that's
so
hard.
fucking bad. And to anybody in chat, I see you every single time I mention this thing. It's not that bad. Shut the fuck up. Yes, it is. It's
I haven't
garbage.
seen it yet. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, Aaron watched the first episode and she was like, the fuck's going on? And
You
then
know
she
it
haven't
in your
watched anymore.
heart. Or you never were a true Picard fan or a fan of the character or
Now,
the way
hold
the
on.
Federation is supposed to be. Or the way any sort of cohesive writing works ever.
Was
you
it?
fucking moron. Okay, there, thank you. Sorry, I just had to.
Man, okay. That was a big
I
trigger
think
there. Sorry about
everybody's got one of these, and I knew that. So get ready, because how you're feeling right now, Max. If the new Dune movie is bad, December's going to be rough for everybody around me. It's just not going to be good. So I feel you. I want to offer you support in this hard time because I'm looking into the future and I am terrified.
I don't know
So,
if I have.
Let
one
me
of
let me
those.
say it's okay if you like Picard. It's fine. I really don't care if you like Picard or not.
Yes,
But
yeah.
the people saying that it's pretty good actually. I think Max is just being real hard on it. No, I'm not. I'm really not.
Max,
I
where are
love
you
that.
on a
Like-
Star Trek fan level, right? Is this
He's
like
pretty
someone
high,
who's just like,
I
oh yeah, I know. Is it high?
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, I mean, I've watched all of TNG for a very long time, like over and over. That's my favorite series, obviously. So that's why it hits me quite a lot to see.
You had a
what
shrine
they've
for
done.
Picard and number 2.
I have an
and-
emote right here in the
It's,
chat.
okay,
Well, not anymore.
Yeah.
CBS is coming,
Yeah.
Max. You're fucked.
I mean, it's the perfect emote for the series. But
Oh, sure.
It's
There-
not a
there-
Picard
I'm not saying there
emote. It's
isn't
a
any-
bold man in a red shirt emote.
So
You're fine.
I just so I can understand, is it like the character overall? Is it the overall story? Is it where they left it?
the overall story, the writing that they made for the
Okay.
characters don't make any sense. Like it doesn't. Like there's inconsistencies to the way Picard, the actual character, would carry himself and would actually act in scenarios, and then he's just not acting that way. Like every now and then you'll see glimmers of like Picard, and he'll say something. You're like, oh, that kind of sounded like Picard. Way to go, show. And then they fuck it up with something else, and I'm like, well, that makes zero sense.
Was
Why would he
the
do that?
was the writing team similar at all to like TNG, or do you not know? Because usually
Did you
that
say
just
was the-
happens
Was the
when you
writing
get.
Oh,
team
I-
similar?
Yeah, yeah.
I can't. No, I mean like
I'm pretty sure I haven't done like extensive like looking to see what the exact. It's the Alex Kurtzman effect. That's what it is.
I don't know.
honestly.
What is that?
Mm.
Explain it.
He's the showrunner for that and Discovery. He's the guy behind those things.
Oh, he's the one that's like spearheading.
also,
the
by the
revival of all
way,
that?
and here's another thing that really fucking pisses me off. They just straight up ripped off Mass Effect. 100%.
I've heard that, yeah.
Unabashedly just ripped off Mass Effect.
I've heard
completely.
that a couple times.
now I feel like I got to watch it.
Did
You're
they
just
rip
selling
off
me on
good
it.
Mass Effect?
I watched
or
2
bad Mass
episodes.
Effect?
No, they ripped off bad Mass Effect. Mass Effect
Oh,
3.
Okay. Okay.
Like, well, Mass Effect
See,
in general.
I know
it comes
we
off
better
like
than you
Mass
guys.
Effect 3.
He's excited now because it's bad, and he loves watching trash TV. So,
Well, I like watching all kinds of TV. I think
well,
it's
that's true. But
absolutely,
you love yourself
fascinating.
a can of rotten TV. You know, you watch The 100 and celebrate The 100 is a really good show, and it's not.
Lots of people do, man. There's a reason why it's been around for fucking 7 seasons, Bri.
It really has.
Hate to let you know that you're fucking coming in a little late on this one, but
And also before people get all crazy, I liked Mass Effect 3. I was okay with the ending being the way it was because the series overall was good.
Max, rule number 4.
Containing the
Video
fire.
games
Max
are
violating
bad.
rule number 4.
People hear the words and they're like, I like Mass Effect 3. Well, I'm just done with this gassy Mexican guy. I like Picard and I also like Mass Effect 3.
If you're listening to the edit, the loud beeps were Max
Done.
speaking of video games.
he's totally done.
So,
No, I mean, honestly, if you like Picard, that's fine. I just really have a lot of issues with what they did with it. And I really gave it a chance. If I didn't give it a chance, I wouldn't have finished it. I watched it all the way through because I was like, I need to at least have the full,
Was there a turning
start
point?
to finish?
Or was it like from the get-go?
in terms
Kind
of
of
being
from the
bad.
get-go. Well, from the get-go, I was watching it and I was like raising the eyebrow, just like, this is a little weird. I don't know. We'll give it another episode. And we keep watching. I'm like, this is getting weirder.
That's kind of that's where I was at. I mean, I kind of.
This isn't me. I need to clarify. This isn't
Well,
me
you're
coming
very
from a place of
passionate
like
about this. I like this. Is great.
This isn't me coming from a place of like I'm expecting the same stuff that they did in TNG. I was open to the idea of change. Still am open to the idea of change. They're telling a different story. Picard is older. We're seeing him in his later years and all that stuff. I understand that. But given that and going in with that open mindset and being ready for that, they still fucked it up. Like, they did.
All right.
Anyways.
Okay.
I think
Max
on a long
was
enough
hurt.
timeline, right? On a long enough timeline of a universe existing and content being made in that universe, it is only a matter of time before everyone who likes the universe that these things are set in hates some facet of it, right? Like if you just make one thing and you're like, that's it. Some people will like it. Some people won't. That's it. But the longer you go, the more that kind of opinion spread gets. So there's somebody out there for whom Picard is their favorite Star Trek for whatever reason, right? That's just a thing.
It's true.
And I think that's just a matter of time. Like I'm trying really hard right now not to hate Star Wars. I love Star Wars so much, but the last I don't know, 5-6 years of Star Wars content is slowly grinding me into the earth. And now I'm just like, God, it's okay. I can still love the things that I loved about Star Wars before. It's not like that's getting taken away from me. But I think for some people, as soon as there is like one bad thing, one drop of bad water in the pool, they're like, that's it. The whole thing's fucked. It has to all be perfect or I hate it. Like Fallout fans with Fallout 76 or there's a lot of that stuff that happens.
Rule number 4. All right. You can mention it, but we're not going to jump in. Stop myself. All right.
I've been, I don't know, man. Maybe this is just me getting old, Adam, but I have not had any issue with any of the Star Wars shit that has come out. I fucking loved Mandalorian.
Yeah, I'm right there.
I was totally entertained with was it exactly what I wanted? Nah, not. I mean, yeah, kind of, but not. No. I'm not overly, the fucking greatest way to fucking bring the final 3 in.
Yeah.
I think I think it's gonna take a few more movies before I'm like I can't. I can't.
For me, it's I'm just oversaturated. Like it's not even it's the same with me. Like I'm not out there frothing at the mouth yelling about how bad the new movies are. I just feel like there's too much. I would rather have fewer films and have them spend more time making the ones they're making than churn out a bunch of Star Wars stuff and be like, okay, that's enough. I just don't need any more of this.
I guess if I bring it in a little bit closer, someone mentioned Rogue One, and Rogue One's probably my least favorite
Really?
And maybe
Interesting.
well, you know, like I'm going to tell
For
you
Adam,
why.
interesting means you're wrong. By the way, I speak
grew-
Adamese. That's
Interesting is not
grew
a
up-
euphemism for you're wrong. It's like okay, I'm still listening.
on.
What else
I'd
you
like to
got?
hear it.
Yeah.
So I grew up fucking in a backyard swinging from a tree with a stick that was a lightsaber and just like, you know, and so all I really want to see is like badass shit, whether it is like fucking intergalactic space battles, which they kind of delivered on in a fucking pretty dope way. And I mean, they always kind of deliver on that. And then like, you know, lightsaber battles and the fucking like, you know, the force and just the fucking how awesome it is and how I want to see it more, you know. So like I don't know, Rogue One was I love that aspect of Star Wars so much that that's my opium.
I think so.
That's what it's like I gotta fucking.
We're on opposite ends of the spectrum then, because all of that stuff, all the Jedi jumping around doing force powers horse shit, I'm so sick of it. That's why I like Rogue One, because it's a war movie in a universe called Star Wars, and there's war in it, and they finally did it.
I mean,
and that was the thing that I was
guess
excited
it's
about.
not that I didn't like it. It was just that, you know, of all the past 10 years, it wasn't necessarily my favorite.
Sure, yeah, of course. Yeah, that's completely fair. I mean, I think there's this sort of assumed preamble for any of these conversations where it's like we're talking about our opinions, and what's interesting is finding out why we think that. Like, it's not gonna be like I'm not gonna be like, wait, you're wrong, it's good. I'm like, yeah, I like it more than you, and that's fine. I think the thing is that what Rogue One to me felt like it was promising something that we never really got, where it was like, oh, we're gonna get some movies that don't play by the same rules as the normal Star Wars movies. And then they did Rogue One, and then they did Solo, and they didn't do as well with it as they thought they were going to. And they were like, fuck it, we're just doing core Star Wars shit now. More lightsabers, more Jedi, more of that crap. And I'm tired of it. I don't need it anymore.
Yeah.
Keep it.
Doesn't matter to me. I'll watch it still. Slap Star Wars on something.
Me too.
I'll watch it.
That's.
I mean, and I think that's a thing, right? Like, I mean, Max could have bailed out halfway through Picard, but you stuck out the episodes you did because you're a Star Trek fan.
Put Star Trek
right?
on it, Max.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
right. You watch it because you watch it, right?
Yeah.
I absolutely had to see where they were going with it.
So,
and I wanted to be fair to the show too, in case it got better.
Yeah.
Adam, does that mean that Lord of the Rings Amazon show, which production has been halted, but does that mean that you're in day one, no matter what?
Even if the whole series is bad, yeah, I'll watch every single episode.
I figured.
Like, I know I will.
Yeah.
Because for me, yeah, like my things like that are Lord of the Rings and Dune. Right? Those two things I will always, like, whatever people make about it, I will check it out because I'm so interested in the world. And even if it's bad, I'll be like, well, you know, it's more Lord of the Rings. It's some cool shit, and I can like understand it in a way. It's like when, you know, big fans of Marvel, they go to the movies and they watch them and they're like, well, that wasn't my favorite. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't my favorite, but there's some like cool shit in here that I understand the context for. I got the references. I know how this fits into the canon. Yeah. So for me, watching it will be like, yay, I know that elf. I know that elf in the background.
Right,
that elf is Celebrimbor, and he's important because, and that's what's rewarding for me, is like getting that payback on the time I spent reading the fucking Silmarillion as a teenager.
I like
right?
that.
So
I like that. That's cool. I'm in too. I want to watch it just because I think it'll be a production masterpiece. But sorry, Gassy, go ahead.
Yeah.
No. I'm just saying, like, I 100% agree with everything I said and shitting on Picard and all that stuff. Like, I watched it I'd still watch it again. Like, even if people told me like it's kind of bad, I'd probably still watch it just to get that content and have that experience. Like,
Season
I can
2,
watch
you're
it
back.
And be like,
you're on board.
That was disappointing. What'd you say?
Season 2, you're back on board. You're there day one.
I'll probably still watch it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Honestly, just because.
Right.
What the fuck else am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Well, and I think there's something to that, right? Of like being interested in, because even if the plot is bad, even if the production is bad, there's going to be bits and pieces throughout Picard that will make your understanding of the Star Trek universe better, right? It'll give you new things to think about and new things to contextualize around, and like that kind of thing is still very valuable. And like for me with the Lord of the Rings thing, I'm hoping they move away from the aesthetic of the movies a little bit. Like if it's just a TV show and the orcs look like the orcs in the movie and the elves look like the elves in the movies, and they do it like essentially a sequel to the films or whatever, I'm probably going to be a little disappointed, but I'll still watch. I just want to see new. Like I love the new Klingons in Discovery. I thought they were super cool because they're so different from the Klingons that we had seen before. I like when things get changed up that way, and so I'm hoping that they do something like that.
Watching Discovery too. Initially, I was like, "What are these Klingons?" And then I watched the show a little bit more, and I was like, "All right, I can deal with this. This is fun."
Yeah,
so it's not like I'm like completely adverse to change and like messing with the
what it feels like
of Trek and design and things like that.
You know what it feels like to me, Wheat, is it feels like, you remember when Marvel rebooted all of their series? Was like Ultimate X-Men, Ultimate Spider-Man.
Which time? Oh, okay, the Ultimate
right.
time, yeah.
For me, the Ultimate one. So basically they took all these familiar properties and then rejiggered them a little, and they were like, we're going to figure out, okay, what is the core things that are true about all these characters, and then replicate them and start over, basically. And I love when that stuff happens. I love when they stick to the core concepts, but they try something different with it. Those things for me are, and that's why I like those Klingons, because I was like, they're still like honorable warrior culture, but they're doing something different with that, which I think is a big deal.
Let's talk about the real fandom, the real shit. Matrix 4. What do we want from it? What do we expect?
Before you go.
Okay. All right.
Last thing I need to say, just to close
Picard,
out Star Trek.
Yeah.
If you like Star Trek Picard, that's okay. That's totally fine. I just cannot in good conscience agree with people who say that it is a really good series. It's well written. It's so well, you know what I mean? Like I can't do that. It's not that. And there's a lot more breakdown that I could say, but I don't want to talk about this forever because I absolutely will if allowed. Watch the Red Letter Media breakdowns of each episode. They're very cynical in their nature, like just those guys in general. So know that going in there, but they make really good points. They bring up inconsistencies, and that'll be something that you guys can see if you want to. It's also entertaining to see them kind of pointed out. But yeah, that's kind of it on. And stop fucking calling Jean-Luc Picard JL. Why the fuck are we calling Jean-Luc Picard JL?
Wait, they call
I don't know,
that in the
JL.
show?
What do you think, JL? Shut the. No one
Hang
even
loose,
says that
Big
as much.
J.
No one says a regular name that much. Jesus fucking Christ! All right, I'm done with Picard.
Okay,
Let's move on.
Good. Thank you. So
All right.
JP, I think I misheard you. So you said, what do we think of The Matrix 2, right? That is coming out, this new sequel
Now,
to the
is
Matrix
someone
movie.
who-
the second Matrix movie.
Is someone who pushed play on YouTube TV the other day, and the second and third Matrix movies just happened to come on within that like 8-hour period.
What?
They're not that bad.
No, they're not. I think they're better than we often give them credit for. They have bits
They're
and pieces
very
that are
like
okay about
2000s though. Like 100.
Yes.
That some of that stuff is fucking dumb. Like some of that stuff I remember watching as a kid. I'm like, oh, this shit is fucking so sick. But now it's just like, it's really
Like,
stupid.
the albino rap rock gunfight duo, like the ghost guy. Like, yeah, there was a lot of horse shit in those two movies. I don't know that we need another Matrix movie. I don't like. I feel
but
like
it's happening, so we might as well prepare ourselves for it.
You know what's happening is it's basically just like there are a lot of people making stuff right now that are looking for sci-fi. They're looking for dystopian sci-fi that resonates now, and then they just want to wring it out for stuff, right? Like we're getting a cyberpunk game, we're getting this new Matrix thing. You know, Snow Crash is getting made into a TV show because I think we're drawn back to that like corporate dystopia, authoritarian, like, because that's the fucking world we're living in.
Yeah.
And so people are drawn back to that space. Yeah. But it's weird because to me, The Matrix is so of its age. Like it's so 1999. Like if you watch it, there's so much in that movie where you're just like, oh my God, this is so corny and so old. And like,
no, the original show, the original movie is great. There's nothing wrong with it. It's pristine. It aged like fine
yes.
wine.
Oh yeah. I think
Matrix is amazing.
It's so
the first
Matrix.
The first Matrix movie is as much a cyberpunk classic as Blade Runner or Akira, like easily. It's like late stage, sort of the dying gasps of cyberpunk. But now everybody's resurrecting this sort of nouveau cyberpunk thing, and the new Matrix movie is just a part of that.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like it's so of its
Do
age.
we know
I don't know what a 2020 version of it
about
will look
it?
like.
Bringing it back around, I know that Christoph Man is in the movie. The Glee boy, the Mindhunter, he's in there.
Oh.
Okay.
He's
Good stuff, man.
He,
Yeah.
you know
Boy.
what? Well, Agent Smith isn't in it, but he could. I bet you he could play a good agent.
yeah. Oh, that's true. I guess he could be a good agent. Yeah. We know that
But I mean,
Keanu and Carrie-Anne Moss are in it. They have roles in the movie. I think I've seen a couple other things. Like I remember seeing some Twitter videos of like downtown San Francisco where they were filming and shit was just exploding and there was helicopters that were like crashing into
Yeah, I
things.
saw a little of
Yeah.
that. They were like jumping off a building.
Are they going to do something where like, Neo and Trinity have to like go find the next Neo or something like that? Like,
the next
and then
rendition of it.
do it
I don't
from
know. I mean,
kind
that's
of a
what I'm most
different
interested in, right?
perspective.
Because like the end of that trilogy is an end, right? Like what happens in that trilogy has a clear cut ending. I have no idea what that future looks like, and that's intriguing to me to see where they actually take it. To see if it's like, they live in both worlds and then both is fine, but in the Matrix they still have like rogue AI or something that they're battling or some shit. I don't know. Like it could be interesting. Or maybe the robots were like, "Fuck you guys, we're still gonna do this shit. You can't get out of the Matrix.
Right.
We can't free
They're
everyone."
They build a new one that can just invade the next one. Like they really. I mean, that's one of the cool things about talking about rules, talking about boundaries. Like Matrix did a good job, like kind of presenting a rule set, so to speak. Well, 2 and 3 kind of went all over the place, but eventually they got to a point. But I still think there is a lot that could be explored from that rule set, right? Like, I mean, you're talking about Star Wars movies, and when you take a property like that, like, fuck, man, like, what's the franchise that is all of the stories leading up to like the AI's actual takeover? I mean, Terminator is
like a real good universe. You can tell a bunch of different kinds of stories in it. And so you can get a ton of mileage out of it by exploring different corners. But unfortunately with like movies, most of the time people just want the same shit again. So what I'm really hoping is that they find a way to be both true to the original and show us something new. Honestly, I would love it if it was the new Matrix movie is to the original Matrix what Blade Runner 2049 was to Blade Runner, because I feel like 2049 captured the spirit of Blade Runner really well, but jumped it ahead a bunch and gave us new information. They reset the stage. Like, I think that connection would make me really excited about a Matrix movie, to see if they like jump ahead and they're like, we get it. We understand what's true about the universe.
Right.
And we're going to tell you something new. We're going to give you some new angle on that same kind of theme.
I think
which means you have to understand.
I think I'm not willing to accept that,
right?
Because that means that it's been 21 years and it's a reminder that it's been 21 years and that's a reminder that it's been 21 years since I've seen that movie and that I'm old. So I'm not going to accept the logic. I'm not going to accept that shit.
On the topic of like expanding like IP and whatnot, there's obviously been an increased trend in the whole idea of video game stuff being converted, right? I mean, like Witcher is kind of in the middle because there's a book and whatnot, but there was just a recent announcement of like Ryan Reynolds and potentially playing Dirk Daring and Dragon's Lair, and we've definitely been seeing more like acceptance of that. And so I've had conversations with buddies talking about what would be cool, like cool shows or movies or something that would like fit into the, but not necessarily take one. And everyone's talked about it like, oh, it'd be so amazing to see like BioShock. And I actually do think if you took the New Year's Eve party and you actually told that story of what you kind of experience in Rapture, like all around, that would be something fucking super awesome.
Yeah. The thing that would worry me about a movie version of BioShock is people are already missing out on the satirical subtext of that game. And if we make a show or a movie about it, it's gonna be more people
have
who are like,
to be a fan.
Yeah, Ayn Rand is awesome. It's like, no, you're missing the point.
Right.
Objectivism is bad. No, don't. Right, like every major, even minor stuff, like every satire. There's people, like there are people out there who think that Metalocalypse is like a cool heavy metal show for metal dudes, when really it's like metal culture is stupid. It's really stupid. Here's how stupid it is, right? It's from within, but yeah, I think it's definitely cinematic enough, and it definitely deserves like a thing. I think it'd make an amazing movie. But yeah, you're gonna get a lot of people who are like, cool, yeah, the philosophy in this is great. I'm so excited.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think video game stuff, and I guess it's true for like Marvel and all that stuff, but maybe it's just because I'm in the culture of video games more than I am in the culture of comic books. Fans of video game IP are really eager to make sure that they voice their opinions about video game IP made into a TV show a la The Witcher. Whereas I think that's probably true for comic stuff. And maybe I just don't see that conversation as much because I'm not in that world as much. But the Last of Us movie, if they go with like what we'd saying with a BioShock, like any video game IP that's turned into a TV show or movie, I'm already tired of the conversation around it, and it hasn't even started.
Well,
Right.
yeah, and especially because
Castlevania
it
is
just
getting all the praise right now, right? Like it can be done right. I think that's like what needs to.
For me though,
I
don't think of Castlevania as a game as to a TV, even though it totally is. You're 100% right.
Well,
but
no,
I don't see it as that,
it is, but that's how I think people need to approach it. Is that like, there's so many ways to tell the story around it, and not necessarily be like, okay, we're gonna literally try to tell this story of this thing. Like that's
true.
When it comes down to it. Like that's what pisses people off the most.
Yeah. That's true.
Fucking go for
adaptation
it.
Adaptation of anything into any other media is so challenging and complicated. But I think, like, to your point, JP, I think you're right that it's exhausting to suffer through the discourse once. And then, so like with The Witcher, we all engaged in, to some degree or another, all of the bullshit around The Witcher and its various trials and tribulations.
It's mostly
and then
just
you
the
finish
armor,
the game,
right? Like that's,
right. Well, there's a lot of stuff, right? And you
armor.
finish the game and you get to a point where you're like, all right, everybody's done talking about this, and they're like, we're making a TV show, and you're like,
I see
fuck,
what
here
you're
we
saying.
go again, right? So they're gonna bring all this same shit back up, and it's all gonna get churned up again, and people start writing think pieces you've already read, but about a TV show instead of a video game. So it's exhausting having to sit through that stuff.
Yeah.
And watch all that happen around you.
Yeah.
Can't wait for season 2. Can't wait.
Oh, The Witcher? Yeah, I think so. I think it did pretty good.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I bailed out after a couple episodes.
Yeah.
Oh.
That doesn't surprise
Couldn't
me.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just couldn't endure. It just wasn't fun for me. But
How deep are you into? Did you read the books and stuff, or how like deep into
yes,
that lore?
I read that one
That makes
collection
sense.
of short story. I read that one collection of short stories everybody wants to read. I played The Witcher 2, I played The Witcher 3, and I watched the first 4 or 5 episodes of the show, and I was like, not into it.
I do
It
think
wasn't
the
doing
show
it for me.
started off stronger than it ended. I think like towards the center, it got a little bit. It hit the low point, but then at the very end, it rose back up. I feel
whatever
I
they
guess,
called
to read
the
it.
bard, whatever they called the bard in that killed the show for me. He is so annoying, and in a way that he's annoying in a way that everybody's first shitty D&D character is annoying. Where I'm like, oh, cool, you just
makes sense
you
when
made a bard. You
when you-
made a
when
bard.
you put it that way,
and
it
you're
makes
just gonna make
sense, yeah.
shitty
Sure.
jokes for the whole episode, and the actor is annoying, and I just couldn't do it. I was just like, I can't. He's so annoying. It wasn't even just him. It was him and Geralt's relationship. And I was like, ugh, just stop. I don't want this.
You must have loved everybody, singing,
song,
going to your Witcher.
I mean,
and-
I'm not gonna get annoyed by somebody else enjoying something. Like, yeah, there was a few weeks where I was just like,
I will.
okay, like you're all really enjoying your, toss a coin to your Witcher or whatever. I'm not into it. I'm not gonna go on Twitter and find everybody saying nice things and be like, you're wrong, this is bad. But like, if somebody asked me my opinion, I'd be like, didn't do it for me.
Yeah.
Why he wasn't funny, and it wasn't, I don't know, it just took the whole thing and kind of tanked it for me.
There's some lyrics in that song too. I'm like, what the fuck is that? They
Yeah,
make an
but
elf
Adam,
on the
every
elf
time-
reference.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. Like Henry is a fucking when he takes his shirt off, like holy shit, man. Like
Yeah.
He's not really my type.
No.
I'm with you.
I don't.
Let me tell you a
yeah.
funny story about The Witcher. I might have actually already told this. Maybe I did. I don't know. During another pre-show. If I did, I'm sorry. I don't know if that's a rule. Can't talk about something you've already talked about on a pre-show, but I'm doing it anyway.
I think rule number 9, you can't say I might have talked about this on another pre-show. You just say it.
Okay.
And let
yes,
the
okay,
audience
okay,
do the
okay,
work.
okay.
Yeah, just
All right,
let the audience do the
cool.
work.
So we watched it with Minnie. You know, Minnie is like, yeah, I know what The Witcher is. Cool, I'm in. You know, he's 14 now. But like he's also that age where pretty sure I remember this time during, you know, when I was growing up when like you fire on a movie and like there's that weird scene and maybe there's like some sex or something and you're just like, I don't know. I don't know, but I like, you know. So anyway, The Witcher's got a couple of fucking straight up like orgy scenes, right? Like and I just got to say, you know, like I like look over. I'm like looking over at my wife. I'm like Jen. I was like looking over at Minnie, just like sitting there like eating dots or eating popcorn, and you know, and I'm like, word, all right, you know, it's all good. But it's so it's so funny. The Witcher. It will be that will be the one.
Here's I would
you just
say
gotta take him aside, right? Take him aside and sit him down and say, listen, Minnie. So sometimes. When a man and a woman and a man and 2 more women and a man and 3 more women and then 4 men, when they all love each other very much.
Wait, I will say it's probably about 10 times worse for him than it was for you and Jin. That is probably how I would look at that.
Like I was saying, I remember that moment where I would
totally,
be like watching, like, should I leave the room or like should I just I just keep eating my popcorn? Like I don't know. But either way. It's funny, and honestly, you know, I know what all the other stuff that he consumes, like animes and seen some wild shit, but it was really funny.
I'm sure it's
really funny.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fun. Let's take the show out of movies and TV and talk about everyone's favorite thing: cooking. I'm curious what you guys are doing for food.
All right.
In these trying times. Right. And also preparation in the sense of, are you ordering takeout? Are you going and getting fast food? Or are you just like, fuck no, I'm not even going to chance it. Like I don't.
Now and then.
Yeah. I think I'm on now and then as well. I think that's where I'm at.
We have 100%. We have, I mean, like obviously totally scaled back, but we have 100% supported the restaurants that we really you know we do not want obviously not the same experience, but that's kind of what we've done.
Are you going the distance? I'll start off by saying I'm not going the distance of when I get food wiping down with like Clorox wipes and stuff on. Like at that point, if I'm gonna get the fucking coronavirus, I'm not going to wipe down the utensils. I'm not going to do the containers. Fuck all that. If I get it, I get it. I'm going to eat my food and move on. Where are you guys at with that?
I think it's one of those things where if you're not leaving the house, if you're isolated and you do get sick, then you're the only one that's going to get sick, right? That's the idea of the isolation. But I don't know. I got something from Amazon yesterday, and as I was opening it, I was like, oh, I guess I should probably have maybe done something about that. I mean, I washed my hands as soon as I was done, but yeah, like it's hard to build that protocol, but I definitely just
all right.
I don't think about
it. Here's the scoop for me.
Yeah.
With you guys, I'm with you. Like I don't when it comes to like takeout and stuff, I'm not wiping down the boxes.
Yeah.
I'm not like inspecting my sandwich or whatever.
Well, you can't. I mean, there's nothing you can do. If you stare at it and get anxious and nervous, you're not going to eat it.
Beyond your control.
And then you're just going to get pissed
stuff
off.
Like that.
Just eat the food.
Or stuff like that.
Just put it in your mouth.
Where it's beyond your control and you're ordering takeout anyways, you know what you're getting involved in there. There's a chance, there's a risk factor, whatever. I'm acceptable with that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like me actually going to grab something from like the gas station or whatever, and I grab like a Red Bull out of the fridge and stuff.
That's tough.
I decontaminate everything. I fucking Clorox wipe everything and I wipe it down.
I'm with you, man.
Because I'm putting my lips on that, and who knows who's touched the top of that shit.
There's
like,
definitely
I can control
something
that.
For me, and I think it's just how I relate to the gas station and the restroom at gas stations. I would never buy a food item from a gas station in the first place, and 2, especially during the coronavirus world, I would never buy anything and eat it from there. That's you might as well be licking a toilet bowl at that point
Also,
at
if people-
Disneyland. And that probably be
Someone
nice.
saying use a glass, that still doesn't work. Like, because if you don't wipe it
There's
down,
a lip
it
on the
still has
can.
to. There's a lip that it has to come out of. You think the liquid just skips over the
See,
coronavirus on the lip
what
of
I'm
the?
saying. That's too much. That's too much work. Like if you get into that
So-
amount of thinking, fuck it. You've already lost, right? The
For
game's
me-
over.
No,
For me,
that's what I do.
For
I'll
me,
wipe it
the biggest issue, like I can't remember the last time that I got like delivery or like went for takeout. But if I do, I got a banh mi from the kick-ass Vietnamese sub place near my house. I still am trying to like go to like local stores to buy food, but mostly I'm just going to the grocery store, getting some food, coming home, making it at home. But I will say this, it's been 27 days since the last time I had ramen, and I am fucking dying.
I saw
I am dying
I
inside.
saw Jerry
It is killing me.
Tycho of Penny Arcade tweeted out a book that he had ordered on how to cook ramen, and he goes, "It's come to this" or something like that, because I think he was missing it so much. So
It's one of a very few foods that I cannot and will not make myself because it's so labor intensive. And it's just like, I know I'm going to do it badly. And I'm so used to high caliber ramen that if I made it myself, I'd be like, this sucks. And I wish I was dead.
I eat ramen every day, Adam. 1,000%, man.
You just make it? What are we now? Hold on. Adam's talking about his hoity-toity fucking highbrow ramen. Are you eating like the 99 cents pocket ramen? Like, what are you eating?
No. Yeah. But
Okay.
the deluxe one, man. The deluxe
switch in that.
one.
No.
Yeah. right before all this went down, Jen's like, yeah, I ordered some of these new like large. There's a sukiyaki and then there's a pork tonkatsu, and I'm like, oh yeah, whatever. And then I had one, and I'm like, this will get me through. This will get me through. And you'll hate it, Adam. It's like salty ramen broth, but it's just I'm just instant, like salty ramen broth.
The difference between like because I got some of that Nong Shim action in my cupboard. I got some of that spicy Mr. Noodle shit. But the difference between those and like restaurant ramen, they're similar foods. But when I talk about ramen, like JP said, I mean like go to a store and get go to a restaurant, eat a fancy ramen. And I miss it so much. And you can't, like, there are places that'll deliver, but those places aren't good because delivery ramen sucks. Because when you get it, it's got the film on it, and it's not. I miss it so much.
I have a recipe for like decent ramen that you can cook pretty quickly, but
it would be worse. I would spend an entire day making the broth and like boiling the bones and doing everything. And I would sit down with my 12-hour ramen, and I would put some in my mouth, and I would be like, why? My hubris. How dare I?
What a waste of time.
God, it'd be worse. It would be worse than just not eating it. So I'm really looking forward to
sesame oil.
Really looking forward to hitting up my
it's sushi for me, Adam. My wife is the same thing.
Yeah.
She looked at me the other day with those like puppy dog eyes, and you could just tell like something was wrong. And I'm like, oh God, what did I do? And she's like, God, I want to eat some sushi so bad right now. I'm like, oh shit, I hadn't even thought about that until you mentioned it. So
I guess you can't really get like delivered sushi in Nebraska, right? Like,
well, the place that we love is just the other week. They're like, we'll do pickup.
Yeah.
So you can't go to the restaurant, but you could literally just go there and grab it. I guess they literally leave it out on the curb. They got, believe it or not, all of these places have like implemented contactless delivery.
Oh yeah.
Pizza
Hut was doing that last, like even on their, they've even gotten further on Pizza Hut. When you go to like order, you can click a box. It's like, we'll leave this at your, like they implemented something to the website. It's not just like someone saying it.
Yeah. A lot of
I have a fun delivery, contactless delivery story. So I did the last time I used DoorDash or one of those apps. I ordered something and it said on the thing, like, just say where we'll leave the food and we'll leave it there. And I was like, awesome, perfect. And I gave him directions or whatever. And I'm sitting in my house and I hear the doorbell ring. I'm like, oh, cool, my food's here. And I go downstairs and the guy's standing there with my food. Right? And I peer through the blinds and he's just standing there. And I'm like, just leave it. Leave it. And he looks at me. We make eye contact. I'm like, what are you doing? Just put it down. And he rings the bell again. Yeah, he rang the bell again. And I just looked at him like, no, go away. Leave the food. Like, you don't need to talk to me. Get out.
Oh my God.
And he just stared at me. And then
Dude,
I
I'm
had
just
to
going through a real
like go
tough-
on
I
and
just wanted to talk to someone.
yeah, I had to message him on the app and I was like, it's okay, man. You can just leave the food and go. And he was like, okay. And then he did. I was like, what did you want? Like, was I going to hug you? Like, get out of here.
Dude,
when that happens too, yeah, I'm like, what is going on there?
Some of my favorite things are delivery, like awkward delivery food stories. I have so many, and I love hearing other people have them as well. Oh yeah, I had one recently where I ordered, I think it was Pizza Hut, and it was an older guy, and I think downstairs I was listening to music or something like that, and so it was pretty loud in the house, but it was just me. I was home alone, and I answered the door after he rang the doorbell twice. That's the important part of the story. Answer the door. He hands me the thing. He goes, "You watching the game?" I looked up at him, and I was immediately like, oh God, he's one of like these people. So I signed the thing and go, yeah, I'm watching the thing. I just said, yeah. What's the score? And I look back at him and I'm like, I had this split second of like, oh God, I have to like either tell him that I'm lying or I have to go with this. No. I have to tell him that I'm going with this. So I go, I don't know. Hey, what's the score? And I just yell into an empty house. And no one answers back. And I go, they probably can't hear me. I don't know. And he goes, all right. And so he hands me his pizza. I shut the door.
Well played.
And then I realize how dumb that was on so many levels afterwards. It's a hockey game. The score is so normal. It's like 1-0 or 2-0 or 1-1. Like the fact that I don't, and it doesn't change all that frequent in a 60-minute game. That guy probably thought I was either high as shit or just the most awkward person.
You got through that way better than I would, because I guarantee if that had happened to me, if somebody came to the door and been like, oh, you watching the game? And I hadn't gotten ahead of myself, I'd be like, yeah. And he's like, what's the score? And it would have just been like, I'm going to level with you, man. I am not watching the game. I just said that so that you would like me more. Yeah. May I have my food and let's never
I was
speak
pretty
again?
impressed with myself because like there was no break. And it was literally just, one sec.
Fluid.
Hey,
fluid. Huh?
Yeah, there was fluid. Like if he didn't, if he knew, he probably thought there was someone else in the house.
It's RP, man. It's RP.
It was impromptu RP, yeah. But afterwards, you bet your ass I shut that door and just started laughing, like cackling to myself with pizza almost in my mouth because I was starving because of how awkward the situation was. So I'm all about the awkward delivery man stories because I got a lot.
The only time I've ever had an awkward conversation, besides the get the fuck away from my house one, was one time a guy came to the door and gave me my food and then made a comment about how nice my house was. He's
those are awkward. I hate those.
This is a really nice. You live in a really nice house, and he did the lean, to lean over to look into the kitchen.
What do you got in there?
No,
he's like,
that.
oh, you got a really nice house. It's a big kitchen, and I'm like, get away from me.
Yeah, man.
Delete.
You better set your security.
I know he was
on
just
that
trying to be friendly, but I'm like, yeah, it sounds like the beginning of a racket, right? Like, yeah, really nice house. It'd be a shame if everybody found out you lived here, snap and run off.
Alternatively,
just respond with like, I work in security.
Yeah. Alternatively, though, I have a delivery guy from Pizza Hut who is one of 3 that always comes to the house. And we're on like a first name basis. He knows everyone in the family. Anytime he drops off food, he always gives like full utensils, all the fucking sauce and extra like peppercorn, whatever the fuck we want. And always packs it perfectly and hands it to us and has the greatest demeanor to him. And he's great. So there is something about like, if you order a lot of food, at least be nice to the guys. I also always tip well. That's probably why he's super nice to me, but yeah.
This is going to indicate just how small Canada is, and Vancouver especially, and how much I travel. My guys for those things, they're customs dudes. So I don't have delivery people I recognize. I don't have like local, like for me, it's the like 6 people that work at the one gate that serves every flight I've ever been on. So every time I see them, they're just like, hey, what's up? Have fun in America. Like every time.
That's true.
Yeah. I've run into them, like this group of half dozen people, like at least 2 or 3 times a piece.
Yeah.
One day you're gonna run a D&D campaign for them. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, that's how you're gonna get back into America one day. You're gonna have to play D&D with them. So
A couple of us fellas
fine.
were thinking, we heard you do the D&Ds, and we're all at home.
he
We
lives
figured
on
out
he's not
Zoom.
going to Boston, Max. He lives on the West Coast.
He's from Boston. He escaped to Canada because of the COVIDs. You know what I'm saying? Heard
You know,
the border was
it's-
shut down.
You say that, but I have I had a friend. He's passed now, but I have a friend named Bob who he was like a huge construction working South Boston guy, and his favorite thing in the world was to play an elf in Dungeons and Dragons. He would never play anything else. And one time we were playing, and we were all making characters. We were at PAX East. We were all making characters, and somebody was like, "What are you gonna play, Bob?" And Bob's like, "I'm gonna be an elf. What do you think?" And he was like, "Why do you want to be an elf, Bob?" And he's like, "I don't know, because they're beautiful and graceful. Fuck off. I'm making an elf." We were like, "All right." And he's like, "Yeah, my elf's wicked smart. I'm a wizard. He's beautiful. His name is Lord Dandelion. You're gonna love him." And like, yeah, Bob was
That
like
sounds
pushing
awesome.
7 feet and like 400 pounds. He's like a huge dude. And he's just, yeah. And then we'd play. And he never did a voice. He was just like, he would just play as Bob as an elf.
He was
That's
the
awesome.
Bostonian elf. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's just like, "It is I, Throndir of the Woodland Realms. I have come here to beg you, Dwarf King, to serve us in our war against evil. What do you think?"
That's
We
awesome.
What do
don't
you
like it.
think?
He would just kill
What do you
us.
think?
Like, God,
Forget
Yeah.
about it.
Pretty good deal,
you're gonna
right?
come with us or what?
This is one of those things that eventually we need to do, but it's also one of those things where we're saying it on a show and chat's gonna be really into it and we're never gonna do it. We need to do a D&D show where it's just called like roleplay : bad accents. And for the entire season, everyone has to do like a
in.
Bostonian accent or their best British accent or any of this.
I mean-
Because can you imagine like a 10-week campaign or something of everyone doing their best Boston accent? It'd be so good. It'd
Yeah,
be
you
so
know,
good.
Yeah, I can. I totally can.
It'd be so
actually, yeah.
fucking funny.
You know, sometimes you get a low ball pitched at you so easily you don't even want to take a swing at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just don't even. You just let
Like
it go across the
what
plate.
if we got a show that was all
Maybe we
Brits?
start with a one shot.
What if we got a show that was all people from England, but they had to do bad English accents of like other
There you go.
regions of England? That'd be great.
Oh,
My-
I thought you
one-
meant they were going to have to do American accents.
One of
That'd
my
be
one of my
yeah,
favorite
maybe,
things.
maybe.
One of my favorite things in the whole world is watching British people do different British accents.
Yeah, I love-
it's
dude.
so good.
Hearing Sam and Dodger do the other British, that's some of the funniest shit I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It was oof. Anyways, rule number 9.5. Don't talk too much about show ideas on the show. That's forbidden.
Right.
Are you
Yeah,
guys
it's
cooking
not a
or is it
brain
only?
We need to.
Yeah. Is anyone actually like on every single day making food? And if so, what are you making?
Not every day, but fairly often throughout the week. Yeah. That was already kind of an initiative that I wanted to do just because we were ordering out a lot. I'm like, we
Yeah.
can't keep doing this. It's not good financially. You know, we don't use our kitchen. I miss cooking. You know, it's better for us and stuff. But so it's
Yeah.
kind of worked out in that respect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been cooking.
Back in January, I started trying to eat like better, just because, you get old, you don't want to die. You figure maybe this will help.
Mhm.
And so I
Same.
started doing that, and then thankfully, I managed to build some decent habits before the world fell apart.
Mm.
So I'm just trying to kind of continue that. So I'm eating a lot more like just shit that I get. Like I'll go to the grocery store, I'll buy a couple of things, I'll eat those for the next couple of days, go back to the grocery store, and I'll just kind of repeat that process. And I'm not a big like. I did one of those meal service things where they send you the ingredients and you make the
Yeah.
food and stuff. They're great. It was really fun, but I had way too much food because the
That's always
minimum
the
amount
case.
of food is 2 people.
Yeah.
And I live by myself. And if I want to eat, and the portions are all huge too. So it's like, great, dinner and then lunch tomorrow. Or if I don't want to stuff myself, it's like 4 meals. And so I just got sick of it. And so I'm just buying like little things that I can kind of eat here and there.
Yeah.
Which is mostly just like meat that I can cook on a skillet. So lots of steaks, pork chops, chicken, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then just vegetables that I can throw together quick. Lots of asparagus lately, and
Asparagus is pretty
potatoes. So I
easy.
just chop them up and
Yeah.
right. Just
Potatoes
like
pretty
Peas
easy.
stuff that
gotta smell
stuff that
so
fast.
weird.
Yeah.
Does your pea smell weird? Does it smell weird? Be honest.
I mean, every
Number
human being's pee
11
smells
on the
weird
rules.
after
We skipped
asparagus.
10. No talk of bodily functions of other people.
Nope, I can't. Well, I guess I'll never be on
Max,
the show again.
I mean,
Which we already knew was probably the case.
one and done. So it's
yeah. So that's been it for me. Just lots of
I've gotten
that
kind of
stuff, and then
for food. I've gotten pretty lucky because we have Aaron has a 10-year-old daughter. For those that don't know, and school is not a thing that's happening right now. But we both work full time still. Twitch still works. She works from home still, but she's always worked from home. So from like 10 to 5, Aaron's mom comes over during the day and doesn't really have much to do because you can't go outside. So she's just baking a lot, and it's the fucking best. We have so many baked goods upstairs.
I see that. Yeah, I've
Oh
seen like all the
my
different
God.
concoctions she's been baking.
It's incredible.
awesome.
She made chocolate banana scones. Dude.
How are those strawberry
Sounds
muffins?
good.
Strawberry muffins,
looked
they were
really
okay.
good.
They were all right. What happened is we put them into a like plastic bag, and the strawberries were pretty moist. So then it just brought everything else to become
That's
moist,
yeah.
and then it was just like eating soggy cupcakes.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but they were pretty good when they were fresh. But yeah, the chocolate banana scones, great. She made a pork roast or something yesterday with fucking potatoes.
Can we get a video or probably more likely a stream? Can we get a stream of you attempting to bake with her teaching you how to bake?
With Aaron baking? We've talked
Yeah,
about
with
it.
Aaron baking.
Here's the thing though, and I think Marcus, you guys will know this, and Marcus can relate. If we do any type of cooking stream, the production is going to kill me because I'm going to have to take all these fucking NDI cameras upstairs. I'm going to have like a full-on computer up there. We're going to have to get wireless lav mics. Like, we're going to have to go the full.
This is the thing that I think
Yeah.
a lot of people don't realize too. Like for people, I don't know, who have a certain, let's say, threshold of quality for stuff where they wouldn't feel good about doing it the other way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
If
just
everyone's
throw
like,
a crappy
dude,
webcam and we'll
just-
use the laptop mic.
just put a Yeti
know.
up there, dude. You'll just get a
You
Yeti.
gotta
It sounds
try
great.
it.
It's
It's
like,
like,
no,
nah,
fuck
because
you,
then you'll
man.
bitch.
I'm not putting a Yeti up there. That's fuck that.
Hey, real
Even the, like, cooking
quick.
stream I did.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say before you go into the cooking shit, and I want to hear about it, but like I got to give a shout out because I said nothing that whole thing because my wife is a fucking amazing. She's
Yeah.
she takes that whatever that pressure cooker fucking ninja foodie. What is that thing? I don't know.
I don't know.
The thing that what's
Some
the new
infomercial
thing?
thing?
Instapot. Thank you.
Oh,
God, I just
Instapot.
forgot about it for a second.
Okay.
Dude, she
don't
just,
thank me.
Like,
Thank my mom. She loves that shit.
She's
Dude,
Instapotting everything every day.
amazingness. It's amazing. Like, just like, yeah, I'm just gonna randomly throw these 5 ingredients in, and I'm just like, what am I eating? This is awesome. It's just so. Shout out to Jen. She's
So wait, this is just
eating
like
me.
a crock pot type situation that stews all day? What are you talking about?
Dude,
here?
the Instapot makes shit in like it's like the future, JP. It just makes stuff in like
All
ridiculous
right,
time.
sell me on the
Remember
future.
in
What's
Back
going
to
on?
the
About the
Future
Instant
2,
Pot, JP.
where she takes that little pizza and like puts it in the
Yeah.
machine, and then
Yeah.
it like
That's what the
it's
Instapot
basically we're like that's 2 steps away, JP. The Instapot
Man.
is just one of these steps in there.
I'm
You
gonna have
take
to
an
get one of
entire
those.
live chicken and you just jam it in there, and nuggets come out the other end. It's
Just
fantastic.
comes out. Yeah.
So wait,
Yeah.
is this
What's,
like
This is
what's
an
interesting? Talking about food, and like people's experience with like cooking and all that stuff really reminds me of what I think to be one of the major dividing factors in this whole quarantine situation. People who live alone and people who live with someone else, right? Because
Right.
everybody's talking about like, oh, Aaron's baking and Jen's like cooking, and I'm like, meals for one over here. Meals for one. Just me, all by myself. So it's just like a lot of eating directly off the cutting board or like from
I
a
do that.
pan.
I mean, we do
because
that
there's just
still.
no point.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
24-year-old DJ Wheat would be fucked right now. I guarantee you. I would just
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. On
You
this
know,
Instapot shit,
shit.
what does the Instapot
oh,
Ultra
man.
do besides calling it an Ultra? What is talk to me about the different
Man,
tiers of the
I don't
Instapot
know,
here.
man. People were talking, calling me a salesman, and let me just tell you,
No, that's
I've never
everyone's-
used this. I've
Yeah.
only eaten the yummy shit that's come out of it,
okay.
man.
All right.
I've never used
So
it
what you're saying is I
before.
need to
just
text your
witnessed
wife.
the
Okay.
fucking great. Like, there's obviously a little chef inside these things that is doing amazing things, creating awesome dinners. I'm just eating them. I don't know how it works.
I'll text Jen.
You can it's probably got a fucking app, JP.
Well, there's an Instant Pot Max. I don't know if Max, they stole your name.
Let me tell you about the Instant Pot Max. And I'm glad you brought this up, JP.
It uses 70% less energy.
That's right, it does.
Oh, it says with the sous vide program, you can create restaurant quality dishes in the comfort of your home. The accurate temperature control is within plus or minus 1 Celsius or 1.8 Fahrenheit for perfect cooking results. So wait a minute, this is just a fucking sous vide machine for idiots? What is this? Hold on. What is going on here? Does this? Okay.
That's actually the tagline of that product.
Everything,
it's a sous vide machine for idiots.
It does all the things, bro.
It's a multi-cooker. Yeah, you're right. Interesting. Okay.
Yes.
Huh. Okay.
How big is a quart? How big
I don't
is
know
this
what.
thing?
Don't ask me anything about what quarts are. I don't.
Dude, Adam, a quart's a quart.
We don't have those here.
Mainly a pressure cooker, but it dabbles in
Oh, a quart is almost exactly the same as a liter. Okay, perfect. Good. 6 liters. Great.
Maximum
flavor.
Minimum.
Yeah, it
time.
is.
Oh
It
my
is.
God, look at this.
It's not lying, dude. It's not
This
lying.
is a show.
Every-
notes. I'm interested.
It's nice.
The meat that you put into this thing always comes out tender. Or juicy, or it's just, I don't know, man.
So you're saying
The production value on this is great.
There's
right
a pretty
now, by
good
the
If you
way.
want to,
There it
if
is.
you
It's
want to
got a
like,
sous vide.
you can,
Huh.
if you want to interview Jen.
Yeah, I might have to. Me and Aaron we might even have one of these in the house. To be honest, there might be one upstairs.
Yeah. Aaron's gonna be like, yeah, I have that.
Yeah, we might.
I
Oh my
feel
God,
like,
look at that
honestly,
meat. It's
JP,
great.
I feel like if we just went to Wirecutter and we looked at the best anything, you probably own it.
Yeah.
Just because you're like, oh, this is the best. It's the best pressure cooker. I'm gonna go ahead and grab one of those just in case because it's the best one.
I mean, yeah, obviously it's like, it's not anything. It feels like they've just iterated on like crock pot kind of technology.
Well, they have
like pressure
NutriBoost
cookers,
technology.
Whoa. Did Elon Musk just kind of innovate on cars?
Whoa. You've insulted.
I'm just fucking around. I
And
have
his
no
lineage.
You don't
idea.
even know how it works. By your own
Don't talk shit about our
self-admission.
Martian prince, okay? We need to be very careful what we say about space lord Elon Musk.
Listen,
who
I
will
don't know
take us
how
to
it works.
Mars.
I don't know how it works, but don't you, dare fucking talk shit about this.
This'll solidify me as I guess a 1%er or something. But I honestly was like, maybe I should finally order a Tesla just so I can have their
Pressure cooker,
no, not have a pressure cooker. To have their air filtration bullshit. They're like HEPA filter, fallout sheltered nonsense that you can do on those cars. Because then I probably feel safer just driving around if I just turn that shit on because it would purify all the air. I just drive that into the fucking grocery store, pull close, and it'd be great.
Let me ask just as a question, since we're talking about cooking.
Yeah.
Also, that sounds like a very expensive air filter that you're buying.
It's a very expensive outfit. That's what I'm talking about.
I now sleep in my car and also live in my car. My car is my whole world.
That might happen. Anyways, what are you saying, Max?
What was the last thing you guys personally yourself cooked? I'm just curious.
Steaks,
Eggs,
sous vide,
and sausage this morning. I like cooking breakfast. It's the only thing I'm good at cooking.
Breakfast is good, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice and simple.
Man.
I used to cook breakfast.
Oh, you
every
know what I
morning,
did?
but-
I went to the Asian supermarket near my house and I bought instant udon and an instant ramen, and I bought some. I made the parasite meal. I bought some short ribs and I chopped them up and I fried them and I made ramdon. It was fucking awesome.
Fuck
It's
yeah,
the last
man.
food I made.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean,
That's very good.
Max, let me ask you a follow-up question. Is taking the foil off of a Pop-Tart cooking it?
No.
Okay. All right. Then, yeah, it was probably a sous vide.
Don't they
thing,
teach
yeah.
courses on that at the Sorbonne? Like
They probably do.
how to
yeah.
do the French or Italian method of removing the packaging from a Pop-Tart?
Yeah, probably so. Probably so.
I think I saw
What
an
did you
Iron
say,
Chef
Gassy?
episode about
I didn't
that.
hear what you said. What did you say? What's the last thing
What
you
did I say?
No,
it's
in
last
terms
did
of
you
what
say?
you've done.
I actually last night I cooked. We've been using HelloFresh, and we even have that issue sometimes too. It's good for when we actually like remember to cook it and stuff and like do it. But a lot of times we'll have other food that we cook or other things, and we're just like, "Fuck, that's over a week ago. That's chicken. We shouldn't fuck with that," But I cooked a Korean like
bibimbap, whatever it's called.
You got it.
Beamy Bop.
That's it.
Did your robot just power
Yeah.
on? What was that?
I always just
call it bibimbap because
bibimbap, yep.
Yeah. But I cooked that.
I love. There's a joint. This is on my list of like places that I am excited to return to once they're open again. There's a place, a Korean place in Vancouver, and it has the best dulsat bibimbap ever. It's so good. Yeah, it's my favorite in Vancouver for sure. The dulsat is the one where they give you the stone bowl and it's like super hot, and then the rice crusts up around the edge of the bowl. So you eat the whole thing, and then you get the crunchy, tasty hot stone. Oh god, it's so good. I think gochujang might be my favorite condiment of all time. I think it might be like, I don't know, is gochujang a condiment? Is it a seasoning? It's my favorite. The taste of that shit, holy, it's so good.
This is what they talk about on Survivor off camera. I guarantee it. Thanks for giving me this moment.
Apparently we do have an Instant Pot. It's never been used.
Never been used. There you go.
Dude,
That's all going to change.
I'm glad you're excited.
Aaron says she doesn't know how to use it. We need to message Jen.
Is it an Instant Pot Max?
I don't know. I
isn't,
don't
throw
know
it
what
out.
type it is. Do we
Or an
know
Ultra?
what brand?
Or an Ultra, right?
God,
Ultra would
and
be acceptable.
that's a very specific feeling, isn't it? To own something and to enjoy it and to like it, and then for them to release the Ultra or Max version and be like, "Oh, Ultra Pot, I used to love you.
Yeah. No,
Let's get the new one."
that's great. That's just, you just order the new one and then never use. I have 4 sous vide machines. All right, Adam. I have 4
what?
and I use
What?
2.
Okay, so
I believe it.
barring
Listen to it.
a
We have a Ninja Foodie. I don't know what that is.
barring a computer
Okay.
role-playing game style thing where you can just take your old shit to a store and get gold coins for it, what do you do when you buy something that is an upgrade to something else? What do you do with the old thing? Do you put it in a box and keep it like a weird hoarder?
I
Do you just have
No.
it around? Do you try to find somebody to give it
Give
to?
it-
I
Someone,
give
yeah.
the old one
I
to
usually
Aaron.
try to give it to somebody.
Yeah.
Usually.
Aaron.
So you just move
That's
it from one room in the house to another, or
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how it works with computers with me. My old
Oh,
computer
yeah.
has been sitting in my other.
I give my
Extra
brother
room
my old
over there.
computer a month or in August. However long ago that was. 7 years ago, or whenever that was.
I will
Yeah.
I will give away like some equipment, but stuff for instance, that other previous computer, I know I'm still going to utilize it at some point because it's like
Mhm.
I just will, and I have, but it's not being actively used all the time for computers and technology stuff. Most of the time, I'll save onto it because I still have a bunch of cameras and stuff that I use all the time. That impromptu cooking stream that I did, I set up my old Canon G30s and stuff, and for me, it was a ghetto stream, but for everybody else looking at it, it would have been like you set up a G30 with your wireless lav mic and your.
That's what happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what happened to me. And it's like all it has to do is happen once or twice before you can never get rid of anything, because you never know when you might need it for a backup. Like the camera that I'm using now, I had upgraded. This was my old stills camera, and I had upgraded to a new one. And I was being lazy in selling it. I was like, I could probably make some money. I could sell this camera, but I'll just leave it around. And then my A7S that I used to use for my camera died, and I just swapped it out. And I was like, this is like a $2,500 camera that I wasn't using, so I can just swap it in.
Mm-hmm.
And that it justified every time I ever held on to some old piece of tech. Every time I'm like, I should get rid of this, but then I'm like, no.
Yeah.
What
Old
if
tech,
one day?
definitely. Yeah, I'm the same way, Adam. I only when I moved here last July did I finally go through like a few of my tubs, and I threw away like 75 pounds of composite cable. I was just like, I'm never gonna fucking use this ever again.
I don't know.
got like
Scuzzy's
50
coming back.
foot-
Scuzzy's coming back in a
Man.
big way. You want to hang on to those cables.
Yeah,
That's one thing I
yeah.
need to do is go through my cable closet, as it were. I just have too much cables that are never
said,
gonna
there
be
is
used.
some stuff tech wise even that you got to be like, I'm not going to use this shit.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
once
Well,
in a
I
while,
mean, you talk
though,
about-
it'll come up and be like, oh wait, I got a thing for that.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Every now and then.
I've had
Don't
a
throw it
couple
all
of
away.
I've had a
Don't
couple
throw
of
it all away.
times.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of times where somebody I know has had something that they own break, and I have the same version of it, but I've upgraded since. Like I had a friend who their Kindle broke, and they were like, "This sucks. This is my main way of reading. You know, can anybody donate?" And I was like, "Don't worry about it. I have that exact same Kindle. Let me send it to you. You can just have it because I'm not using it anymore." So every once in a while that comes up, and that's really nice to be able to just be like, here, take this thing. I have a upgraded version, but you need it. So that
happens a lot
again,
too.
just justifies the hoarding. Just never get rid of anything because you never know.
Oh my God. I just saw that Wheat has a Twitch purple fucking gesture. What? Look at you, asshole, Wheat.
Wow.
What?
You have a Twitch purple gesture.
What?
Your chair. It's Twitch purple.
Yeah, I do. What do you mean? You've just now noticed?
Yeah, because you're always sitting. What? Well, now you know because you already looked up the color of my chair, but unbelievable.
What?
Should I get that chair?
You're an influencer, bro. Accept your role.
I guess so. Can you what? Can you get that color chair? Yeah, you can. Gestures come in a lot of.
I'm not asking. Can I? I was saying, should I get that chair?
Oh, what type of chair
yeah.
are you rocking right now?
I don't say.
We're not going to chair shame you. We're just asking you what type of chair you're
It's
rocking.
basically Office Max's version of like of like a Herman Miller or like a wire back, kind of deal.
Oh.
It's like I don't have a legit one. It also weighs 1,000 pounds. It weighs so.
I mean,
heavy.
these are
It's
pretty
so
heavy.
fucking heavy.
The gestures are pretty heavy.
I guarantee.
Have you
fucking
ever
heavy.
owned like an Aeron or like a Herman Miller or Steelcase?
No, I haven't done that. I really need to, but
You probably should.
I'm
sitting in a
12
plus
I'm
hours
sitting
a
in a
day.
Oh, no,
Herman
I'm
Miller
aware, yeah.
Aeron chair right now.
Yeah.
And it is amazing.
Here's the thing
It
though,
was
Max.
It was $900.
Yeah.
And it's so comfortable.
Yeah, I think me and these run like 12 or 1100. Yeah, that's bad.
I love when streamer shows chair.
Max, here's the thing. You're taller, so you'd have to get a Herman Miller Aeron C, and they're kind of hard to find unless you go to like Craigslist and look for. Maybe right now you might be able to find a lot on Craigslist because offices are just selling completely.
Now that I'm thinking, I'm so fucked because of all the chairs that people are probably buying. God damn it.
No, because the office is closed, so they sell their chairs.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So you know that when like there are basically, and this is what I tell everybody, I'm like, look for startups that are having like closing sales. Look for like temporary office spaces that are closing. And you can get like a decent expensive office chair for much cheaper when you're buying them from. But it all depends on where you are. Like if you live in San Francisco, a used Aeron is probably fairly easy to come by. But if you live in
Austin,
probably
you probably can find
Austin
one on
probably's got
Craigslist.
some.
Yeah.
The only
I'll
thing
have to
is,
look into it.
You're gonna have to buy some Clorox wipes because definitely want to wipe down that fucking chair.
I mean, that's already that.
Yeah.
We talked about that earlier. I literally go through a decontamination process for a lot of things.
I will
for
say though,
takeout.
the gesture is for me since I'm taller. It fits better than an Aeron did.
That makes sense.
Just because I'm taller, but yeah, they're both
Gesture, you said?
Yeah, it's a steel case
Not
gesture.
me.
You can get a steel
I'll
case
talk to you.
Leap. They're pretty good too. They're all.
Yeah, that's the one I'm most familiar with, the steel case Leap.
I had a Leap and I tore the like fabric in the seat after 2 or 3 years of owning, and so they shipped me a new one free of charge. What they didn't ship me was how to install it, and so I took apart my chair and it never got put back together. So we got rid of that shit, and I just bought a new chair. So yeah, I'd get a look into steel case. If you're gonna buy furniture, Max, go to smartfurniture.com. Buy it from there. It's good shit. They're good quality, and they also you like talk to a real person. It's good stuff.
Not a robot.
Yeah, it's not a robot.
Any code? You got any code I can use?
I don't have any affiliate codes. They don't do any of that shit. I already asked them because I tell all my viewers that. They're like, what type of chair is that? Because the chair always looks fucking weird because sometimes it just sits like this. They're like, what the fuck is that chair? Like, why? Who?
Right.
Why does your chair
It's
do
a chair
that?
that also could easily be like used and substituted in a low budget like sci-fi thing as just like
Totally,
the bridge of a ship.
Yeah.
How long have you had that one, JP?
4 years now. 4?
4?
Yeah, 4.
That makes me feel good.
They're good chairs. Yeah, you just got
mine's
yours, I
only
guess,
like
right?
8 months old. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also got a glass mat. First time I've.
Oh,
Oh
Wasn't
yeah, like
tried
that
one.
roller mat, right?
I don't have a roller
Yeah.
mat. We have hardwood.
Yeah.
Are you on carpet?
I'm on carpet.
Okay. We're on.
Yeah.
We're on.
Glass? Matt?
Yeah, glass mats. I think it's Vitrazza or something. They're based out of
Sounds fancy as
Colorado.
fuck.
Um,
Very smooth.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Trotza.
like, I don't know, especially Nebraska, like almost unless you're doing like a bar or entertainment area, most of the time you want carpet because technically I'm in a bedroom. I'm not, this is my studio, but or
Yeah.
office, but it's right. So they suggest, you got carpet, right? So it stays warmer down here too. And so actually Dr. Lupo is the one who's like, these glass mats, like try it out. Because what had happened is I tried to use the hard plastic ones.
Dude, those suck.
And this thing sunk.
horrible.
It like
Yeah,
sunk
dude.
into
Yeah.
it, and then I just created divots, and then like my chair couldn't move at all. And so
Dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
how
you
much
start,
I
they
saw
start
this-
cracking. Yeah,
I had
Oh,
one of
I
those
would
plastic
just-
mats, and it was the
So-
type of plastic mat that shattered. And so it was like stepping on Legos anytime I wanted to get up. It was just
Yeah.
was the scariest
the-
thing. It was a
but
nightmare.
when switching to a glass thing, like you guys, it was like well, god damn it, the analogy I want to give is to like having your kid for the first 2 weeks where you're like, if I breathe on this thing wrong, it's gonna break, right? Like it's just
Yeah,
I
sure.
just
That was my
every time I
follow-up,
got in my
yeah.
chair, I'm just like, shh.
You don't jump into excited.
Yeah.
Right, but I mean, it's just it's amazing.
Is it like
really.
the Gorilla Glue of office mats? Is that how you would say it?
It might be.
Okay.
It might be. I mean, it's fucking a huge piece of glass, right? So,
Yeah.
could be a weapon too. I don't know.
Yeah. Should we have
Don't
that be a
body slam
rule?
anybody onto
Maybe
it.
don't tell people where they can buy shit, but you could still talk about products. Because then we're like enabling, right? I don't know. Maybe we should. If anything, maybe we should just get a code.
It's a hard line to walk because on the one hand,
Yeah.
you want to endorse stuff that you like, you want to give people a chance to get it, but on the other hand, there are things that you enjoy. Herman Miller's not paying me shit all to talk about my chair.
Hey, but Herman Miller and Logitech are working on some gamer chairs. I don't know if you saw that. but-
Ooh.
I
I really hate
have
those
noticed.
ad.
gamer chairs.
I've noticed this happen. That there are like companies that make high-end headphones, and there are companies that make office wear. Like they're looking at the video games and that market, and they're trying to like. I think they're taking brands that normally would be very expensive and high tier, and they're kind of bringing them down so they can make a more affordable product. Like when somebody says Herman Miller and Logitech are making a chair, I'm like, ugh. That's not good for Logitech. That's bad for Herman Miller. It's just going to make worse versions of the good things they already make.
Well, it'll be funny too if it just comes out to be one of the Chinese-made chairs that every chair startup in esports has.
Yeah,
God, yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if they go that route, but I guess we'll see. You
Yeah.
never know. You
I
never.
never found.
I don't
Maybe
mess
it'll-
with gaming chairs anymore.
Yeah, I never did. It was just,
Not for a
it's always
long
ripped off.
time.
They're all the same chair.
Yeah.
They literally are all the
So-
same
yeah.
chair.
It's all the same.
They come from the same manufacturer. Same. fucking factory.
I mean, not these days they don't, but
Well, yes, true. Yeah, true enough. Well, I think we should probably get started with the show. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? Is there anything else?
No, I think I'm ready for the show.
no, I'm
You guys
good.
ready?
Yeah, let's roll the recap.
Okay. All right. Let's do some shout outs and we'll start the show. Thanks for being on here. Max, will shout outs as usual. Go ahead, Max. Shout something out.
Shout out to Herman Miller, provider of really good office chairs. What is this? What is this new thing? So far, we know Max is always on time. He's never. Yeah, absolutely. Those are all true. Thanks for watching, guys. This was really fun. When you said this was a show that you guys were doing, I bullshit all the time. That's what I do. So yeah, thanks for having me on. If you guys want to watch, I'm a variety streamer here on Twitch. Please don't get too mad at me about the Picard stuff. I'm just very passionate about it. I'm sorry if I offended you. I'm not sorry. Actually. Don't watch my stuff.
Don't. Yeah. There you go.
Follow over here. I think I got that right. If you guys want to, Sundays are usually my day off, so I don't know if I'll be broadcasting today. But if you're interested, follow on that stuff, and you can find me on the internet. Thanks again for having me.
Cool. Adam, some shout outs.
Excellent. Hello. Let me see what mine is. Let's see. I do hate photography. I like everything that everybody else likes, and I don't understand why anyone would ever hate D&D. It's the best game that's ever been made. Thank you for that. I assume Barry, you piece of shit.
Fuck
I'm
Barry.
Adam Coble.
Jesus. What an
You can
asshole.
find me on Twitter at Skinny Ghost or on Twitch, twitch.tv/Adam Coble. You can also find me right here running Court of Swords, which you will now definitely see us for because unfortunately Zeke is not going to be away. So come back on Tuesday and we'll have some new Court of Swords for you. And yeah, thanks for having me, JP. The pre-show is always a good time. It's nice to have 2 full hours to talk about it. And next time that Wheat and I are both on, you know we're talking about books.
That's true.
You know it's going to be book chat.
That's true.
Sure.
Get ready.
I'm in.
Wait, do some shout outs.
Thanks. I I think Stormlight Archive is the greatest book ever written. It is the Bible of the new generation that will inevitably come out of the ashes that we no. In all seriousness, thank you so much for having me. If you want to check me out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at really early at 6 a.m. Pacific for 3 hours, I do a COVID-19 call-in show. We chat about what's going on. Oftentimes I'm yelling and ranting about different stuff, but also we get a lot of people calling in from all around the world, kind of telling their story. And if you need a place to come chill out, welcome you to stop by and say hello. Thank you guys so much. It's a pleasure. Check out the Instapot. It's basically like Tesla of crockpots, and it does so much more than that.
Yeah.
And
fantastic.
That's what I hear.
Thanks, guys.
I'm gonna have to check it out. This first episode, we got a lot of stuff to do. I got to figure out what we're gonna do for the intro and all that music and all that nonsense. So shows are always ever changing here on the channel, so look forward to more. We also don't know what the schedule, if this is gonna be a whenever we feel like it.
It's like a pop-up shop, right?
Yeah. If it happens, it happens.
Like a
and
food
we'll
truck.
talk about it. We do have a bunch of people confirmed. Rami Ismail is going to be on future shows. Reb Ford will be on future shows. Morgan Webb will be on future shows. Shocks will be on future shows. League of Legends commentator. If you don't dabble in that world, I'll probably have Wheat back for that episode. So at least we have some esports connection there. We'll see. How
I
that
hate
goes.
esports. Everything about it.
Yeah.
I heard that.
Yeah. So we'll try to switch it up here with the guests though moving forward, but you'll probably see a lot of familiar faces from all the different role play shows. So yeah, that's that. We'll get it up on podcast probably later this week. I have to set that whole thing up, so it's going to take some time. But for now, that's it. VODs will be up on YouTube. We're out of here. We're going to get the show started. That's how we're going to end every episode, I've decided. We'll see you next time. Bye.